gentlemen, welcome to week 3 of the new State Mobile Mashup. This is the penultimate week before we move on to the grand finals, where the top 16 teams in the league will slug it out over a prize pool of $200,000. 2 tickets to the last dance are on the line tonight. And we're still following possibly the biggest story of the season. Team Vengeance, initially qualified but forced to forfeit their spot due to a roster change. This week is the team's last chance to get back in the grand final. Lots of pressure on them, and we'll see if they can rise to the occasion. The other team you should be keeping your eye on tonight is Wartime. They looked impressive in the early rounds of last week's Open Qualifier, but their ace shooter, Koto, was unavailable to play Sunday night. With him on the bench, the team finished in 8th place and did not qualify for the main event. Look for them to bounce back strong tonight with Koto returning to the active roster. And we've got a special guest joining us tonight. That's right. Noah from YouTube will be calling all the matches and breaking down the map callouts for us in a brand new original segment. 16 teams are eagerly waiting the match to get underway. There are 2 tickets to the grand finals up for grabs, so let's drop in. This is the New State Mobile Mashup. Welcome back. My name is Toffees, and it is my privilege to be your Sherpa as we continue through the final week of qualifiers on the journey to the grand final. But why talk about the journey when I can show you exactly what the path looks like? It has been a grind for the last 3 weeks as we've done 3 influencer events and 3 open qualifier events, all with the goal of getting to the big show, including the 4 wildcard spots. We will have a grand final where 16 teams will get their shot at $200,000 in prizes starting on April 1st. That is a very big event. That is a very big deal. It is a very big responsibility, which they would never trust me to handle alone. So we found the best, the brightest, the masters of mobile battle royale, and we brought them here today. This is one of them, perhaps the one with the nicest shirt, the finest hair, the best smile. It is 7 Worlds Gaming. My man, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Toffees. Thank you so much. Man, I might have to take a clip of that and just post it on my Twitter. I appreciate that.
Hey, you know what? You want me to do like an answering machine for your phone? Whatever. You let me know. I got you. I got you. And I know you got me as we get ready to go back through the memories of games in the past. It's highlight time.
That's right, baby. It is highlight times, and why not? Let's start with a big surprise over the weekend. Wartime. It was the team that didn't qualify, but they did have an outstanding player, Koto. He was able to put up an amazing performance. Sadly, though, he didn't get a chance to play Sunday, and he wasn't able, and the team wasn't able to qualify. And I think I'm hearing reports. Oh, what's that, Cam? Oh, they actually have been eliminated today as well. So I'm gonna be looking forward to seeing what they can do this weekend.
Sounds like a catastrophe.
It is. It is. And then we have the real killers. Now, this team missed qualifying by just 9 points. They were very consistent in the final day, but it just seems like it wasn't good enough. Hopefully, with the experience they have gained, Toffees, they might be able to put a better performance here today and make it to the grand finals. And look at this, by the way. Look at this Ilum.
This is what we call creative kills, okay? Oh, hey, you want your loot? Not today, sucker.
I love that a teammate was just waiting for it and just waiting for the right time. As soon as it dropped, they were like, okay, now we can shoot it. Now let's go to raw material. They have been a strong contender. This past weekend in the open qualifier, though, they had an absolutely awful weekend. I'm sorry I had to put it like that, okay? But it is what it is, and it was just awful. Hopefully this team will be looking to retain the great form that they have had in the past, and maybe today will be that day that they can qualify and get, if I'm not mistaken, is it 2K in their pocket? Is that right, Toffees?
It is. I mean, it is. And to stand, they are raw material, but what we need is refined material to show up today. It's time for them to put the rubber to road and take everything they've learned and make it work.
That's right. And then we have another one. I mean, Strangers BD. A lot of you currently watching have seen this team play over and over again. Let me just rewind you in case this is your first time ever watching. It's Strangers BD. When Winsanity was here, they placed 4th place. When Choco Taco was here with that whistle of his, they ended up in 6th place. Hopefully today will be the day where they can improve on the performances and maybe they can qualify, and then we move on to Obey. This is the team that we really haven't seen as much as we have seen Strangers BD. Luckily for Obey, they have acquired a lot of experience in the past weekend, as they ended up in 7th place, actually above Wartime, which Wartime has a lot of great players. Hopefully we'll be able to talk about them more in the future. But with Obey, it's a team that honestly I'm gonna be looking to hopefully surprise everybody today.
And now I'll surprise all of you at home with a reminder of who qualified for the grand finals already. There are currently 7 teams that have punched their ticket. M249, Burn in Silence, Pure Love, the Panthers, our most recent juggernauts after last week. Instinct, Violent by Nature, and Syntax also joining them last week as well. We will be seeing some of these teams in the lobby as we go forward. In a little bit, we'll talk a little more about which ones are going to show up in our first coverage today. But it has been interesting, to say the least, to watch some of these teams thrive. Like M249, they seem completely unstoppable. These guys are just that good.
The Panthers? Can we give ourselves some credit here, Toffees?
That's true.
The Panthers finally made it, and we called them out since the first day too.
Yeah, they showed signs of brilliance. They understood Battle Royale. And that is a key to winning here, which is why we have invited our influencer. This is our special guest today. This is a man who understands Battle Royale like no other. Excited to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Noah from YouTube.
Yeah. Thank you for that great intro, man. I'm excited to be here, excited to watch some awesome new state content and cast alongside 2 of the best casters in this call right now.
You've learned the first rule of casting: mercilessly suck up to the other casters, because you
guys are the best, man.
Synergy. All right, but let me explain to you at home before we get into this, because I'm excited about casting with you, exactly what the influencer event is. It is a unique format. It is not the Open Qualifier, but it does result in 2 teams advancing to the grand final. Our teams dropped in with 31 other teams, I guess the better way to say it, earlier today. They've played to the round of 16, where we will be joining them, and then the top 4 teams from each of the groups in the round of 16 will advance to the round of 8, where we will crown 2 champions who will head to the grand final to play for $200,000 in prizes. Now, if one of the teams on that list has already punched their ticket, they will still get the money. We're not going to take money away from you, but we will pass that ticket on down the line to the next highest qualifier. Noah gets it. He's probably got stacks of that stuff in his Porsche out back, right? Is that
yeah. No shoes, though. No shoes.
No shoes. Oh, Surfing Boy comes from the grave to slap us around. He's not even here. I mean, he's living rent-free in our heads. All right, let's talk about the teams that are playing, because we are kicking off this event with Group B, and it is some titans in here. Is there a team that you think we should keep our eye on to start this, Noah?
So as you said, there is a lot of teams that have already qualified, so a lot of these teams are really good. But honestly, the one that sticks out the most for me personally is going to be Pure Love, just because they have gone into these competitions week after week after week. And one player that I have to give a shout out to is going to be Long, just because when I saw his name and then saw him spraying up across the map, I just thought, okay, yeah, long shot. Like, I was watching this dude spraying across the field with these, like, high X caliber scopes, and I'm just like, I don't know how you control the recoil like that. Insane player, insane team. Excited to see what they do.
Absolutely. And let me get the team that you want to keep an eye on, Seven.
For me, it's going to be the Panthers, man. I'm hoping they make it to the next stage, and I'm hoping M249 makes it to this next stage so we can see just a battle of giants. I know they already qualified, but I like the madness.
And they're 2 sides of the same coin. Panthers, raw aggression. Pure Love, raw strategy. And in between that, my pick, Vengeance, raw desperation. They got to qualify. They got 2 more events to do it. Let's get into match number 1 as we kick off the Big 6 here at the New State Mobile Mashup. If you're just joining us, my name's Toffees. I'm joined by 7 Worlds Gaming and Noah from YouTube as we kick this thing out. It is a gnarly circle to start us off, Noah.
Wow. Hey, you guys know my favorite drop spot is going to be Lab, and I see that right there near the middle of the zone, a little bit on the northern end, but honestly, with the water just cutting out the other half of the map, that might be a crazy hot drop.
Absolutely. And talk to me about hot drops so far in the events that we've watched, Seven. Real deal? Is there a way to plan for them? Do they just happen by accident? What's the story?
Yeah, there's really no way to predict anything. I mean, this is VR Extreme. We don't really know which map we're gonna be getting until we actually get to the map. What I am looking at right now is how many teams are going to be going towards lab. Are they going to be willing to stick to that? Remember, these teams are only going to have a chance, Toppies, to play 2 matches. Do you really want to take that early fight? If it's me, guess what? I'm looking at those $2,000. I'm going to be backing away. I'm going to be going to the shack into the middle of nowhere.
Well, we got 2 teams that are looking, 2 groups that are looking to fight. We're going to jump in with La Familia and Violent by Nature. Violent by Nature is going to have the pink on your screen right now. La Familia will be green, and these 2 teams had no interest in passing off the drop. They're going to go head-to-head right out of the gate. Now, with the amount of drone credits you start with, you think that's a good call, Noah?
Honestly, you know what? I talked about this a little bit behind the scenes with you guys. I would think going into this, your strategy would be, okay, every player is good. You have to have confidence in their slaying ability. Go in, just try to get as many kill points early on as possible. And if you lose a player or 2, don't sweat it. You do have those drone credits. You can go ahead, back out of fights, and revive those teammates in the mid game. So I definitely think this is a good strat. And there is a lot of teams here, a lot of fights about to go down.
Big with no water, tries to come around the outside. He got an earlier knock. He gets knocked down that time around. He was hurting from the first engagement, and now he is flush. So that is going to set them back just a little bit. La Familia is down 1, but it is not a dead player. In fact, it's about to be back up and running. So they are going to be 3 strong, while that very aggressive flush against Violent by Nature does put them down a man. Though, after that fight, I think it was overextension, 7. Everyone from La Familia has been able to sort of fall back, group up, and replan their next move.
Yeah, I think they will be able to. What I'm gonna be, actually, no, I take that back, Toppies. I take that back. They're gonna be looking to take it to the fight. He's backfiring.
Ooh.
Oh, I said plan their next move. I didn't expect that next move to be to a funeral as the fight continues. It is. Shiro's got to try to get it on this one. VBN down to 2. La Familia just like that. Down to 1 player left as you see him trying to crawl away from the others. Maybe get them to leave him a little longer while you res your friends or buy something safe. Shiro is going to come around here and try to make the save. But again, VBN is already going for reses. They're back up to 3, and Shiro's got to do this by himself. He's not running away to his credit. He's going to go the distance. He seems like he wants to make the fight. Grabs the vector, pushes the left side corner, back to the right side. They're using the sand cues against him. You can hear Jedi off in the distance. He can't see it. Remember, we see the labels. They do not. So as far as Shiro knows, everyone's still inside of this building when in reality, it's just Peel. Peel was not ready for the vector. He does get splayed down. Shiro's going to immediately reload, get ready for the counter push. He knows it's coming, goes for the flush, get the easy point, lock it up. Jedi coming from the distance, but you don't have the high ground. Shiro does. He opens the spray. It doesn't matter. Jedi is taking the high ground, and after that, La Familia stands no chances.
And I love that Jedi right there decided to absolutely free fire him. He knew that the other player had a vector. He's like, I'm not taking any chances. I don't know where you're going to be at, so I'm just going to pre-fire, spray and pray. What was it, that one from Toppies last week? I can't remember.
Accuracy through volume, my friend.
Yes, sir. There it is. That's exactly what I was looking for. Accuracy through volumes. That's exactly how I play. Is that how you play, Noah?
Oh, I heard that phrase be thrown around multiple times, and I just thought, man, in New State, that is how I play, because I just grab a DP, I get that custom on it, have the 72-round drum mag, and, you know, if I spray all 70 shots, eventually 1 or 2 of them is going to hit the head and just knock someone down. But, yeah, that was crazy that we just watched the last player of LFM actually push the 3-man fight. I was surprised to see the 1 kill, and then they got the wash, so at least they got some points, but honestly, in that situation, I feel like I personally would have just tried to get away and then you know, hopefully get another green flare, because you can use the green flares in this game. That's something to bring back your teams 1 at a time. But, you know, credit, at least they got 1 kill point there, but unfortunately the entire team's out with just 2 points in the first round.
Well, what's crazy to me, sorry to cut you off right there. I wanted to mention, we were expecting such a huge hot drop in lab. I think all of those teams decided to just back off. They thought maybe everybody was going there. They were like, you know what? Let's just play it safe here. And they actually ended up hot dropping themselves a little bit more north. Luckily for them,
it seemed like everybody saw each
off.
other and then decided, okay, let's not go to lab because there's going to be like 6 teams. And then just like went everywhere around lab. And then, yeah, like you said, that ended up being a hot drop as well. That surprised me. I was really looking forward to the lab action, and then nothing happened there.
So what you guys aren't able to see right now is that both of the players who were killed in that opening fight by Violent by Nature have been recalled. They're currently dropping back in to join their team, so VBN will be at 4 strength relatively soon. Now, the other thing to keep in mind regarding that hot drop situation is those of you at home who maybe aren't familiar with the new extreme format, you're dropping with a full boost bar, a gun, 600 drone credits. But the other thing to keep in mind, Seven, is that loot is tuned up. It is a higher chance of getting good loot across the entire map. So does that maybe encourage teams to say, you know what, you can have the lab. We'll go to these quote-unquote trash compounds because maybe they're not as trashy as they used to be.
It definitely does, and I think that's one of the reasons why we end up seeing hot drops. Obviously, the map is a lot smaller, but I think that extra loot encourages this team to be a little bit more confident in themselves that hey, we might end up getting the weapon that we like. We might end up getting the attachments that we like as well, so why not? Let's try to see if we can take that fight. That's why we saw some people with a Vector right off the bat with an extended mag. The amount of loot that you can actually gather in BR Extreme, I personally play it a lot, and I absolutely love it.
All right, I'm going to cut off for just a second here because while VBN has managed to get all their players back, a little team called Vengeance sniffed out the trouble. Headshot drive-by. What? Easy drop down. Jedi came out for the flush but gets caught from behind. That is the worst horror, is when you get shot unexpectedly. Nice smoke going to come out. That'll buy him some time for a flush and a res. But this is Vengeance. This is the team that qualified, had it revoked due to a rules issue with the way that they presented and changed rosters, and now only has today and this week's Open Qualifier to get back into it. Do you like this aggression from them, Noah?
Honestly, like I said, early game, take as many fights as you want. As long as you do have the ability to get 1 or 2 players away safely to recall the team, just go for those kill points because those are so valuable. You never know what kind of like end game circle you are going to end with, so you can't always guarantee those placement points. But if you're confident in your team's ability to strategize with those green flares as well as just have gun skill, I say go for it. I love it.
That's a good point. I mean, Seven, the placement points only really come by getting to the end. A kill point is a kill point is a kill point, no matter how you slice it, dice it, or when you throw it in the hopper. That's a lot of value to that.
It is, and something that I'm actually enjoying here as we're looking at this map is how Violent by Nature decided, you know what, we already had to deal with one fight. We really don't want to have to deal with another fight here in Anchorville, so why not? Let's start rotating. You can see the 2-2 split that they currently had with Peel and with No Honor in 2 vehicles, and I think Cinder's just trying to figure out how he's going to be able to make it out of there. Luckily for him, though, it seems like Vengeance is backing away. What I'm enjoying, and something I haven't actually seen before here, Toff, is pure love with the 2-2 split. I want everybody to keep in mind, with the influencer tournaments that we've been doing, Pure Love has been a very passive team, and sometimes they appear to be that team that doesn't really have that switch, right? When you talk about a champion, something that you want to have is have this switch. You can be aggressive when you need to be, and you can be passive when you need to be and be patient. Pure Love has always shown me patience, but they have never shown me aggressiveness. Maybe sometimes here and there, but not to the point that I wanted to. Hopefully today is going to be that day that they're going to show me the aggressiveness that I expect out of a champion, because this is a team that's already qualified to grand finals.
It's an interesting dichotomy. I think ever since General Sam released his Rats versus Chad's video a while back ago, the categorization has really branched into a lot of different titles. And the reality is neither one's ultimately the right choice, Noah. Sometimes it's that honey badger, that team that can find the balance between ultra aggression and deep passive strategy play that seems to thrive to the top when I'm watching.
Of course, and Seven has mentioned multiple times, you know, he hasn't seen the aggression that he wants to, but regardless, Pure Love has constantly put up those points that they've needed to. So, I mean, they're 2-2 splitting right now, or it looks like they're finally starting to cover a lot of ground up there on the northern end of the circle. But, you know, they're getting the intel they need, and they keep playing their placement, and it's working out. So, I mean, if it's not broken, what, Seven? You don't fix it, right?
Nah, you gotta fix it.
True. You gotta fix
He
it.
just wants to see the action.
Right. I say let's pull you two.
See what happens here.
Noah, are you a rat or a Chad?
Oh, I'm a Chad. Come on now.
All right,
like I said, I'll take those fights.
All right. Seven, are you a rat or a Chad?
Yeah, you should know. You should already know. I'm willing to take the hot drops. I'm willing to push the action. You're never going to see me snaking. That's all I'm saying.
20 kill win or I'm going down first.
Exactly.
You guys crack me up. I built my first treehouse when I was 7, and I have not left the bushes since. Rat life forever. But I totally get it, because I think that's the beauty of Battle Royales in general, particularly here at New State, is there are a lot of ways to play it. And all of them are viable if you know how to perfect your style of play, whether that's pushing with a Thompson and like an extended barrel, or doing this and trying to get those outside long shots with the M24s and SLRs. Either way is a good time. Now, let's check in here with Pure Love. This is the team that you said you wanted to keep an eye on. So far, they're doing exactly what we want to see. They're making point-to-point rotations. They're doing 2-2 splits for scouting and then collapsing into the circle. And they're doing it on a really good time frame, Noah.
Oh, I agree completely. And it seems like, despite, again, Lab being kind of the central of everything, I don't think anyone's looted this yet. So they're getting the entire POI to themselves. They just shot up a red flare, so they're going to be getting a weapon of some kind here. And wow, yeah, they are going to be stacked going into endgame. Hopefully they play their position well. They might even be able to zone hold this team above them. I'm trying to see which one that is. 5 here. Let's see what happens.
Vengeance
People are
just
closing
got a
in on them.
gift.
Yeah, freebie, right?
Yeah.
You know, they deserve that because they wanted 4 points and VBN ran away. So instead, the new state karma gives them a drop to make up for their trouble. I like that. I like it, 7.
I'll take it. You know what? I'll take it. You just gotta sold me on it. So the only problem that they're having right now is that they have a team 6 that is gonna be looking at them. Syntax is gonna be like, I mean, if you're gonna make that push, we're gonna make you pay, and that's what they're trying to figure out right now.
Might not be as free as you think.
Yeah,
it's a little out there in the open. It might be a little bit of a run, risky.
What's crazy to me right now is Syntax doesn't have, at least Caveman doesn't have that M24 customized. Please, you got the money. I see it right now. You got 1,010 credits. You could customize 2 weapons if you wanted to. Go for it, please.
And he's out of sniper ammo. I just noticed that. That was the last shot he just took.
And then for those of you at home who are watching something, you may notice that we've added to the Observer client literally this week. Is it on the left side of your screen above the players' names? You can see what the collective amount of drone credits the entire team has between them. So you can sort of keep track in your head of, are they able to go green? Can they pull in the P90? Are they pooling their money for something else? And that's just a fun thing that we can track as we go along. Now, Syntax is a team that just qualified, but they made a roster change after the first week 7, which I find interesting. Cave Girl used to be on this roster. That's the girlfriend of Caveman. She does not appear to be on that anymore. Is that something that, you know, I guess that's a sign of a good pro team, the ability to make the hard choices and make substitutions as needed?
I was scared there for a second. I thought you were gonna make me go full on TMC here, but I'm not going to. Okay. I mean, yeah, it could be changes that they might have seen. Hey, maybe we have a player that plays a better role with an SMG. We've seen SMGs being super strong in this game, and right now, what I'm gonna be looking at is Team 5. Which rotation are you gonna take? You can do this crazy rotation. You can go straight if you want to. That's what I would like to know. And since they are the team that's the farthest from the circle, they need to start making that rotation quick, because if you see Team 8 right now, they have a straight rotation right here. And I love that Team 4 is currently taking full advantage of Factory. They're making sure they set themselves up. What I am hoping for, Top, is we've seen teams do it over and over again where they set themselves up, but they are too passive. I'm hoping Team 4, if they see anybody driving by, they start shooting at them right away.
Let me ask you, Noah, if your team 5, which is the machine gun, they were out there on the very edge, you saw the arrows, what would your play? What would the call to your team to be in that difficult situation?
So Choco Taco, when he was doing his clipboard little plays, made a great point to always rotate the edge of zone and kind of rotate around it. Use that zone as your friend. It blocks off 50% of, you know, where opponents could be, because going into late game, typically you don't see people just tanking the damage.
Right.
And that's typically my go-to strat. So I'd love to see them approach this 2 different ways. One, just late rotate with the zone, keep rotating with that river, and just sort of clear out behind them and hopefully get a third party on the 6th or 3rd team there in the open. Or they could just full send it with multiple vehicles and just try to overthrow Factory.
I like it, and we'll keep an eye on it, because 5, it looks like they've chosen for the direct approach. We'll see if that pans out for them, and continue to track it for you. Also, for those watching at home, if maybe you're new to mobile titles, just a reminder, you can't kill your own team, particularly with car damage. It does work against other people, though. There is no team killing at this particular moment. So
looks like
keep that
Cross
in
was
mind.
going for some right there on 5.
Yep.
Just driving through. And that's pretty interesting to see that Pure Love is doing the 1-3 like intel split. Pure just Cross over here just driving straight through the middle of the map and letting the rest of their team know where to go. And I think their team collectively has 3 vehicles, making 2 now.
Yeah, so this is Pure's actually perfected this, I think, ahead of some other teams, 7. This idea that they load the trunk up with 1 extra set of gear, and they send a solo scout to all of their locations, and they just have a green flare on standby. So they say, find us a spot before the blue closes. If you die, we've got more stuff for you we'll find somewhere and you just drop back in and you've got a re-kit. And I think that's very smart.
I think it is very smart, but I think right now with this zone, they're kind of running into an issue that I thought FAU was going to be running into, that it's going to be running into right now, which is they were so far away that they decided not to move in right away. I would have loved to see more urgency out of them. It seems like they decided to take a little bit longer to loot, whether it was to fill up the trunk of the car, whatever it might have been. And right now, they just can't find a perfect spot. And if we actually look at the map, Pure Love is currently in an insane split. I mean, they're not even close. They have 2 in 1 vehicle in the middle of Team 3, which is going to be the Panthers. And then now you have Pure King trying to figure out, okay, where am I going to go? Because right now, my teammates are all the way over here, and we can't even see them. Look at that.
Oh, man. Poor King right there just driving in circles. It looks like the rest of his teammates finally went down to your favorite right there, the Panthers, which, I mean, if you saw the radar, that was to be expected. The Panthers had them swarmed, and then you just have another team in the back third-partying them. So I feel like there was a little bit of a misplay right there. They had everything. They had all the loot from Lab. They had all the loot from their previous locations, and they had 3 vehicles. And they just kind of scouted everybody. We were like hyping up their strategy of how they perfected the scout, and then that just happened. I mean, maybe it was just bad luck because they didn't know what they were driving into, but I feel like they definitely should have stayed a little bit closer together.
Yeah, and it just comes down to timing. I think that's what it comes down to. Timing. If you're going to send a scout, you have to send that scout super early. You cannot wait until those teams that were close to you are going to start rotating. Obviously, they don't know that. We have the advantage that we're able to see the map. But these teams, I would feel like they would have enough knowledge of the BR to know, hey, if we're going to send a scout, it has to be quickly, Toffees.
Yeah, and I think that they'll also, learn a lesson that any Southwest Floridian will tell you, which is don't go in the Panthers' territory if that's their hunting ground. Like, it's a bad idea. And he learned that pretty valuably there. Now, the shift does go north, and King is going to be ecstatic about his coronation as he gets to sit there. I think originally he was sent there because he's got the green flare. So they figured, you go call back our lost player, we'll go do some scout, and then now he's just down to 1. But Pure is relatively comfortable in this last man standing, hold the line sort of scenario. What no one's comfortable with is what's about to happen as Syntax tries to transition. They immediately get shot at by Violent by Nature, who's back up to 4 strong. But they can't get too aggressive because they peek out too far. They'll take fire from Savage as well as Vengeance, who's also watching them. And there it is. You can actually see Crown gets a knock on Koba.
They are going to be watching them right now. What I'm going to be looking at is, luckily for them, they do have some rocks, especially the Panthers. You can see them right now trying to get shot down. What I'm going to be looking at, too, is which teams have taken advantage of those drone credits early on and which teams are going to be using the shields. We've seen them over and over again, Toffees, where they come in handy. I'm not seeing anything right now.
Syntax went from a prime position with 4 to nothing left on the map, Noah, and that was in the matter of seconds.
Oh, yeah, that took half a second, and then boom, the whole squad's gone.
Wow. And that was the worst, too. That was like dying with a whimper, not a bet. You know, like, you don't want to go out with a whimper, you go with a bang.
Like, if I'm going to die in a game, I want to at least die in, like, an epic gunfight, explosions everywhere. Not just, like, I'm driving my car, boom, dead.
Yes.
Like, just gone.
You want to get hit in the chest, not Forrest Gumped in the backside. So
yeah,
it is what it is. They're trying to survive. I get it. There's not a lot of real estate out here. There's not a lot of cover, Seven. That's a tough part of, or sort of tough feature. What we're looking at right now is there isn't much outside of the 2 compounds that are already taken.
There's really not a lot of cover, and I'm actually surprised Pure King decided to take some shots there into Savage, considering that it didn't seem like they even know he was there. Luckily for King, he does have a little bit of heals, and I didn't notice he has a shield as well, so he might be able to wait until Team 1 Savage gets distracted here by the machine and maybe try to push into that zone. If there's ever going to be a time, right now is that time for Pure King. Just start snaking, baby. We want to see it.
I don't know, honestly. Like, I don't think they're going to forget about him. He was lighting up their vehicle in the tower, and there's really only 1 exit from the tower. And just sitting there eating zone, I don't know. I don't think he's going to make it out. I'd love to be surprised. But look at that. Team 5 is also kind of approaching. So King is going to have a lot to deal with as he just sort of crawls out. Maybe, like you said, they get distracted. But this is looking real bad. I'd hate to be in that situation there.
I like what Noodles did. Noodles ghost rode the car a little bit further, jumped out, and then squatted down. And now he's going to make a big push on Savage. Before they even see him coming, they will go 1-1. That does cost, but it opened the door, I guess, for machine gunners to show up a little bit more here, Seven?
King's finally moving.
what I'm looking
Oh.
at right now, it's Vengeance has just been sitting pretty. They're like, okay, we're just gonna wait until you guys do all your stuff. We're gonna try to position ourselves a little bit closer towards that circle shift, set ourselves up, and hopefully get the win. We see there, West Honor does have, I mean, with no honor, does have a little bit of a height advantage.
So Savage is forced to go south. They're now going to tuck in behind Violent by Nature, who has the lone real estate here left on the map. That'll ultimately end in their death. Pure dies to blue, denies the point, knowing only 4 teams advanced. That's a pretty important choice, or could come into play later. Meanwhile, Vengeance has spread out and taken over an entire side of the circle. That does mean that they will have to go 1v2 up here against the machine guns when they come up over the hill. Aggression is going to be in the pole position to do that. You can see him in the distance. He goes down during the opening engagement against Sins and makes it a 1v1 because they do manage to go for the trade. Worst Horror is tracking as best he can. He does manage to get that shot down, so that will now make it Vengeance versus VBN. VBN inside the compound, Vengeance on a 2-2 split on opposite sides, but that circle pop is like a nail in the coffin of Violent by Nature.
Yeah, I would have
man.
liked to give the advantage to Violent by Nature because they had all the cover until that circle got popped. So that's going to put Vengeance in a great position, especially if they have, you know, shields to work with.
Yeah.
They could just set it up there and zone hold them, and this is a troublesome position, especially because they do have the high ground as well. So it's like, yeah, you know, you do have the compound to work with, but that's really not going to do much for you.
And then they use
Especially
aggression.
with that zone pressure.
They've tucked him in behind. Aggression opens
Oh
fire.
my
Does get the
gosh.
knock. He evens it up. It's a 1v1. Actually, Worst Horror is still down. Crown from the distance. Tries to get the angle. Aggression reloads that dinner plate. Peel is down now, too. VBN is down to 2 players. Jedi takes some fire from the left side. Doesn't have a lot of options. The blue's going to close. He's going to go for the bandy. And he ends up just going down nice and handy to the blue zone. That helps accomplish the goal for Vengeance. A team that has a desperate need to requalify comes out with game number 1. 7.
Wow. Yeah, just wow. The way Aggression was able to play that whole final match, final circles, I absolutely loved it. I loved how they took advantage of Factory. They were the first team there, and then once they noticed a lot of teams fighting, they decided to be patient. They decided to play their game. And at the end, Aggression and Ben just being able to get the angles, being able to, in a way, win those 1v1s. And if they didn't win a 1v1 because one of the players did get knocked there, they at least had some backup to help them out.
I'm fascinated to see how it goes. There's only 2 games, Noah. There's literally only 2 games to make it to the top 4 of this group. That, I mean, I don't know. I've never played at this level. I know you played last time we did an event. Do you think that's a like, how's that pressure affect somebody who had a bad game this time around?
I mean, honestly, if you have a bad game number 1 going into game number 2, you absolutely need to full send. You need to make up those points as quickly as you can, because at the end of the day, if you got early eliminated right in the first game, worst thing to happen is you're just gonna not get enough points in the second game, early elim again, whatever. You know, you're gonna be out of it. But if you do have a good game number 2, at least then you do stand a chance of qualifying. So all those teams that had the lower points, they're gonna have to full send. They're gonna have no other choice.
That's a fascinating take that I don't think I've really thought about a lot in the past. Like, normally you say, oh, you lost game 1, that's going to be a really stressful game 2 because you got to qualify. But the reality is it kind of removes the onus of performance from you. I mean, the idea of 7 is that you can go in and be like, well, we're almost out anyway. F it.
Nothing to lose.
Right. That's
Might as well go for the hot drop. Go for the hot drop. Maybe this time will work out. Maybe this time you'll find a Vector with the customized kit right away. It happens. It happens, okay?
It does
you love
happen.
that Vector with the custom kit.
I
You're
do.
always talking about it.
I got so many wins, okay?
But he's got so many wins.
You guys saw how much work it put in. When we come back from the break, we're going to go to the highlights so you can judge whether or not the Vector is everything 7 says it is. But we'll be back. Me, 7, Noah. Don't go anywhere. Game number 2 coming at you. One is done and two's on the way, and we are back with a vengeance. They say vengeance is best served cold, and in this situation, they came in cold but went out hot. In fact, they were so hot, we couldn't even show you the way that game ended just there. But don't worry, we will. Do you know why, guys? Do you know how we're going to show everyone at home what happened in the last match, 7?
Tell us.
Well, normally I'd show you the highlights, but I'd rather talk about it because it sounds like a little bit more fun.
Listen, I don't know.
Well, so here's the thing about vengeance, okay? And for those of you at home who are watching, this is a unique situation. I'll lay it back out very quickly. They registered for week 1 while X-Bin, one of their top players, was on vacation. Totally get it. Makes sense. Whoever registered them added somebody else as a sub, you know, in case somebody got sick. That's also totally makes sense. The problem is, in the KRAFTON bylaws, you cannot make a roster change after you qualify for an event. That is to protect the players, right? Imagine qualifying for a $200,000 event and they're getting dropped the day before play starts so that they could pick up somebody from maybe another team that didn't make it. That's not cool. So those the rules exist. That said, when X-Bin came back, the team had qualified. They didn't expect to. And so they sat down, had a powwow, and decided to give up that spot because they believed they could requalify with X-Bin. And so they're okay with it. They understood it, but we're really getting a feel for the risk. And you can keep that in mind, how intense that commitment is from the team as we take a look back at the highlights.
Let's do it.
Yes, I was waiting for it, man. You left me on a cliffhanger right there. But I mean, I love that you talked about all of that with vengeance, because the best player on that previous match was actually X-Bin. As we are going to be looking at some of the highlights here. Let me just give you some quick stats. Let me hit you with the Luke stats, okay? X-Bin ended up getting 3 elims, and then on top of that, he was able to get 369 damage. So the confidence for them to do that, Noah, for them to be like, yo, you know what, we'll give it the spot, we're definitely gonna be able to make it back, that just speaks volumes of their confidence.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I would personally, I don't know if I would be able to take that risk, but they believe in their players that much, and they're just saying, all right, we'll just do it all over again. You know what, we're not worried about it at all. So I think that's crazy. And I mean, it's working right now. Look at that, first place, 19 points. They could just sit back and do nothing next game.
19. And remember, seeing that asterisk is to remind you that they have qualified for the grand final. I will also tell you, Syntax, Pure Love, and the Panthers also technically have asterisks on there. So those teams have already qualified for the grand final, which means the onus of qualification is on the other teams in the group. Vengeance, the first among that. But Machine Gun Nest, going to be relatively happy, I think, with their situation and where they are right now. What do you think? You think they're good? You think Savage is moving forward? Which of these teams that are not qualified stood out to you, 7?
I'm gonna have to go with well, you gotta do this to me, okay? I gotta go with Vengeance. I mean, I love the way they were able to play it. I was even saying it during the match. They were being patient. They weren't trying to rush anything that they didn't really need to rush. Even when all the fights were going on, if they didn't have the third party, they just were patient. They were silent, and they were making sure they didn't give the other teams any intel. Sometimes the stuff that we kind of see is teams get a little bit too eager. They get a little bit bored, and they want to start shooting at people just because they might be close by, or just because they might be thinking that they can pick up a quick in point. Vengeance didn't do that. Vengeance played their game, and it worked out wonders for them.
Speaking of playing their game, let's take a look at the other group during the round of 16. Group A is also in progress. They've wrapped up their first game, and Nori Aim wraps up that match in style with 20 points. M249 Fan Club, who has won 3 of our 4 qualifier events, is in second. Strangers and What Haunts You below that. Saying that is one thing, but no, the other side is like, there's a lot more teams that have not qualified and don't have their asterisks in that lobby, which I guess is nice, but also scary because M249's in there, and they make lobbies unpredictable.
Yeah.
I mean, it is nice to know that, you know, they can't take one of your qualification spots, but they're going for the money, and I feel like they don't care how much money they get. They want more. They just keep coming for it, and yeah, I would be terrified to be in that lobby. Like, yeah, they can't take one of your qualification spots, but they can eliminate you in the game and make you lose points and potentially, you know, take away your qualification spot that way. So it's scary and relieving at the same time. I think either way, I would not want to be in that lobby.
I do expect
the thing is, we have to say, the thing is, right now, if they do end up in the top 4, they are going to be moving on to the finals here today. So they are, in a way, taking your qualification spot to get to the actual grand finals. So M249, we know it's a strong team, and I mentioned it earlier. I want to see M249 versus the Panthers at the end of the day.
And while M249 may come from Group A, there's somebody else here who comes from YouTube, but is also a master of all of these different places. And it's time for our new segment, Noah from Factory.
Factory, okay, that's what we're going with this time. All right, so Factory, it's a map. We had seen it actually get played there near the end zone. Vengeance had taken it over, and once they had held that ground, it was basically just a, you know, fort for them. They sprayed up players all over the open field around them, and then that led them to actually have that early rotation to the final circle with all the other teams fighting. But as far as Factory goes, it's a close quarter combat area. You have the crates that move around, so there's a lot of moving cover. I'd recommend, if you are in the Factory, you want to go ahead and pick up a submachine gun, though, because it is so close quarter combat, and that's Factory.
That's Factory, and that's Factory. Sometimes a death sentence for some people. Noah from Factory, Noah from YouTube, Noah from Twitter. Really, if you type Noah from
New
all of the option. There you go. I like it. I like it. I will say, you guys. Rebrand? No, not yet. Not yet. Not until you guys win an event, which I keep waiting for and hoping we get to see at some point. Now, if you guys at home think you've got what it takes to win, if you think you can handle a team like M249, or more importantly, just want to cut your teeth against them and get better, now is the time. There is an open qualifier tomorrow. You can still sign up for it. Head to the link down below, esl.gg/NSMM. The link has actually gotten easier, as has signing up. Also, I'm going to throw this out there. This has been very important, something to consider. That also gets you access to the competitors' Discord. So if you're looking at creating teams, finding competitive players who have the same mindset as you, sign up, because it comes with the ability to build a community. Get there, get in the game. It's going to be awesome. Plus $200,000 in prizes. If you're not playing, you crazy. In fact, I'm on the assumption that if the 3 of us knuckleheads weren't sitting here right now, we'd probably be trying to get some of this Noah money that is on the line.
This Noah money.
Noah
We'd
money.
For sure be teaming up, too.
He'll be carrying, okay? He will be carrying.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like we are about to get the game underway. Match number 2 is about to kick off. I am excited about this, and we're going to go into it as soon as it's ready. 7. Tell me, in that last match, who do you think maybe like showed moments but just wasn't able to come through with what you needed? Or like just tell something about that's what stood out in that last one to you.
Violent by nature. When we talk about Vengeance being able to hold their ground, being able to position themselves, Violent by nature was also being able to do the same, but at one point it kind of all fell apart. Their patience ran out, and also the circle just didn't favor them at all. One of the other teams I'm going to be looking at here is Syntax. They're sitting currently at the bottom with only 2 points. They're going to have to do a lot more if they want to be able to get up there. Luckily for them, with Vengeance and Violent by Nature having such good games to start off with, it is kind of close in regards to being in the top of 4th place. Right now, they're only 5 points away from the Machine Gun Nest. So if they can put up a great performance here, if they do end up getting hot drop and actually win that engagement, I can see them maybe passing on the top 4.
You know, I want to bring up Syntax again because we watched them a few times in the last game, Noah. I thought they were doing well based on what we saw and how late in the match we were watching them take fights. They only got 2 points off of that last game.
Oh.
Like that.
It's Battle Royale, man.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
That's fair.
You think a team's going well, and then boom, circle pops on the other end of the map, and Violent by Nature saw that. So it's Battle Royale. Can't ever just assume someone's going to be doing good because they had a hot drop.
Here, no, I'm gonna put you on the spot real quick. Do you usually like to play the edge of the circle or the middle of the circle?
Off the drop. Honestly, like I said, I have my few go-to areas like mall and lab, and those are typically hot drops in the public matches. But if I was doing a competitive, I'd probably try to land. You know, I land in the middle. I'll just pretend I'm a Chad because this is hypothetical. I would go in the middle. I would kill everybody.
I thought you were gonna be giving out your future strats right there. I was trying to help out the other competitors in case in the future you do decide to participate in this.
Panthers lands with the pistol. That's the perk to this mode is Machine Gun and the Panthers are both going to be landing with pistols and full boost bars. So they can take the fight right out of the gate while they do manage to try to get their armor up and running. Khaled does get a PP Bison with that red dot right out of the gate. We already see that Malcolm is knocked from the Panthers, make it a double as Khaled is now down. Sids grabbed that MP5 and it was just a little bit too strong. And now they're down 2. I don't think they expected this 7.
Like, yeah, they definitely didn't expect this at all. And I love that one of the players right now from the Machine Gun Nest also has a sniper. He was like, you know what, this might be helpful later on too. And you can see the Panthers started deciding to back off. And this is the play right now. Remember, you have the green flare guns, back off, see if you can maybe rank up some more of those drone credits with the other teammate that's alive and bring back the players that are currently dead.
Yeah, a situation like this, you just pretend that you showed up, you know, you showed up for your Tinder date and that person didn't match their profile picture. Maybe they're carrying an axe. Just nope out. Say, this isn't for me. Get out of there. Get out of there. And that's what the Panthers are going to do. Smart play. Live to be another day, especially because of the rankings. They picked up, I think, Panthers 7 points in that last game, which is not going to be something that they're happy with based on their performance last time around, Noah. And so I think that they need to sort of play that middle ground in this one, right? Not over risky, but also don't be safe, right?
First of all, I gotta say that was a great analogy. Never heard that craziness before. But yeah, second, I love the play. You know, you have half your team go down instantly off drop, and then the other half know where those 2 players have been eliminated from. So I think that was a smart heads-up play to go ahead, just run away in the opposite direction, grab a vehicle, and see if you can just slowly regain after that drop. Get those 2 teammates back, get looted up, and then just try to play end game and pick up some kills that way.
Yeah, there's no downside in being willing to walk away from a fight in this particular game. I mean,
especially at a disadvantage.
Yes, this is Battle Royale. Anybody out there who tells you to treat this like an old-fashioned esport, which is 5-on-5, is out of their mind. As the field continues to develop, as mobile becomes more popular, as Battle Royales do continue to rise to the top 7, I think a lot of esports players have had to reprogram the way they think about some of these fights, because at the end of the day, sure, it's a 4v4 in a city, but like that's not the game.
They definitely do. I think a lot of people usually, from a viewer, right, from a viewer side, they're like, why don't they want to take that fight? Why are you scared? And some of the players actually might be afraid that they might end up thinking, oh, you weren't confident in that fight or whatnot. But it comes down to, hey, do you want to win that money at the end? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what one person might be telling you on Twitter. What matters is you getting that money in your bank account. That's
there's a reason those people on Twitter aren't in these games right now.
Exactly. Tell them, Noah, from Twitter.
But there doesn't have to be, because you guys could sign up right now at esl.gg/nsmmm.
Use the link.
Use the link. Yeah.
Hey, that was smooth. That was smooth. I like it.
You set me up. It was like a T-ball game. All right. There's no way I wasn't gonna smash that. So it was a nice one. All right, Cross. You like these guys. You like Pure. The last game. I don't want to say it was purely a failure, but it wasn't pretty, no.
Yeah, no, definitely not what I was hoping to see out of them in game number 1. Hoping here in game number 2 we see a little bit of improvement. I'm trying to find them here on the map. You guys see them? Oh,
left
look at
side.
that. Yeah, the
left
left
side.
end. Yeah. I'm looking at their position, and they're doing their go-to strat of splitting with the different vehicles and just trying to pick up intel, but they might end up getting themselves in a little bit of trouble. They're driving straight to a team that already has positioning.
I can't tell if they're gonna try to take this fight or if they're actually gonna try to position themselves to gatekeep them from the zone. Because if we're able to see that circle right there, let me actually,
like they're
you know what?
pushing
I
it.
love then when this map comes up, you can see that they're not inside that circle. And you know what?
No,
Let's actually highlight a little bit
Hey,
more.
you wanted to see some aggression out of them. Here it is.
So Pure
finally,
decides,
maybe.
but it's smart too, because they do know if they can park in a spot that gives them extract capabilities, the blue's not going to hurt them too much. They know that 7's going to have to move. That's La Familia. They could try to pick off a kill or two here. That's all they need. They're currently sitting at 5 points total. The qualification cutoff is currently 7. So literally, if they can pick off 2 or 3, maybe even 1, it just gets them in a better spot to keep grabbing points. And they have complete escape culpability, because here, if they get countered and pushed on one side or the other group just dissipates and resummons. So I like what they're doing. Very strategic.
I was gonna say, my question right now is, why just go out towards the blue?
Why not?
That makes absolutely no sense to me.
It doesn't
They're being
hurt.
extra sneaky. They're like, they'll never expect us way out here.
It's
But
like
I agree,
tickle
that was
blue.
strange.
It's like tickle blue right now.
Instead of setting themselves up to gatekeep the enemy, they're trying to let the enemy gatekeep them. It makes no sense.
We got a drive-by happening here. Hold up.
So it looks like
Strange plays happening, but I think they're definitely going to try to play aggressive here.
Well, they're trying to push them into Cross. They want them all looking at them here, and then Cross is
And
going to
all of
hopefully
Team 7
step
is
out.
in one vehicle, though, so they just spray up that car. Yeah, and this is going to happen.
That is going to happen. So Pure is going to go aggressively at this push, and the reason they were able to go aggressively at it is because of King's location. They knew that if they chased, they would open fire. They'd probably both teams take massive casualties, and then Cross was literally 60 yards away with a light machine gun watching the fight. So even if they lost 3 to say 2, you know Cross would be able to just finish off anybody who was left. I think that was, you know, like some peak planning, man.
Yeah, Cross was in a perfect position. Like, that worked out perfectly. I don't know who's taking notes right now. I don't know who's coaching for their team, but that was beautiful. And just like that, they're in a qualifying position. I mean, they already qualified, but that puts them even higher.
$2,000 is $2,000 and bragging rights. Plus, there's the other side of that. 7, you've been in esports for a long time. There's something called invitationals, and that happens a lot in esports. And the teams that get invited are the teams that A, make a name for themselves, and B, make big plays, right?
That's right. It's not only the bragging rights. You're also looking for the new state developers to be like, hey, you know what? This team actually performed really well, and they were entertaining. Not only that, they were able to showcase different strats. Why not? Let's invite them again. I want to go back to that pure love play. I'm actually looking at it again, and boy, that was some serious planning into that. It seems like they were hurting that car into that player and get him completely surprised. That I'm just shocked that teams are already doing this in New State Esports.
Very, very smart. Let's jump over here to Jedi with Violent by Nature. We saw them taking some early fights last time around. They're now pitted against Savage. Savage is inside the blue, but barely, as they do try to play Gatekeeper. Jay will go for a res, but you can see with Violent by Nature starting to get their spread here. Peel is going to go ahead and continue to smoke that building as they try to find flanking positions to continue pushing forward here on Savage. Savage lumped into one spot, needs to figure out how to get out of this house. The longer they're surrounded, the worse it's going to get for them. Violent by Nature has managed to not only push out of the blue, but literally surround this compound on escape side as they continue to throw grenades through the door. Jay, forced to jump outside off the back of that explosion, comes around the blue, open fire with effect, takes turn damage. It's a 1-for-1. He goes out for the flush, make that a 2-for-2. As a lot of players are down. Up on top, Carpel's trying to find the angle. He can't quite get a grip on that nade as he tries to throw it out the window. Make a little play here. Cinders with the dodge podge. Jedi up on the high ground. And Carpel still trying to make a clutch, but he just can't get a grip on it.
And as Jedi's pulling through here, that's just going to put Carpel in that much worse of a position.
And all he's going to do is he's down to his last molly. He's got a flash on standby. If anything, he's just hoping for the best. Goes for the Thompson. Looks like he's got that extended barrel on it. The res is going to come out, but this flash will not clear the doorway. All of the players are about to be back up on Violent by Nature. Carpal is going to have to try to do something. He does see Jedi. The nade comes through the window. Goes for the spray. Jedi takes some damage, but Carpal's down to half. 24
Borrow time.
He's got to heal. The Blues on him. Now they know they push the stairs. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. VBN walks away with 4 in the hopper and 4 standing upright.
That was beautiful by BBN and Carpal. There was just a lot of undecisiveness there. He was trying to figure out, do I want to throw that Molotov? Do I want to throw a flashbang? He just wasn't sure exactly what he wanted to do. Hopefully, he'll be able to go back and watch the VOD and realize, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe I should trust my instincts. I wanted to try that molly right away. I should have just done that.
It was resource management, right? Like, how many of us are Elden Ring right now with like 16 talons in our bag, right? Just use it. Otherwise, you're going to finish the match and never have gotten that kill or thrown the molly, and you'll regret it. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Noah, do you like to hoard supplies?
Honestly, I do. I'll like end up getting eliminated with like 6 grenades in my pocket, just waiting to have the right moment to use them. So definitely in that situation, you know, it wasn't a bad play to throw every piece of equipment you have, just because, you know, if you die, you can't use it. So I like that play. There really wasn't much you could do in that situation. VBN played it really well. None of them just, you know, pushed in individually up the stairs and gave away free deaths. So I definitely think, you know, as far as the situation goes, that was the best play you can make.
Absolutely. And this is VBN still out in the blue, and I think this is maybe the justifiability of what we saw Pure do earlier a little bit more, Seven, is the blue damage right now. VBN's been sitting in it for at least 2 minutes, is akin to a maybe 4th grader kicking you in the shin. It's annoying, and you probably want it to stop, but it's not going to kill you. You can fight back. You can heal yourself. You'll get over it relatively quickly. Now, if this circle locks in, that changes pretty dramatically, and you will start to feel that damage. So VBN should be packing up and rotating very soon, because when we close out this phase 3 and it switches to 4, that damage does go up.
It definitely goes up, and I love that you mentioned as soon as the circle closes in, because guess what? I think VBN realized, okay, this circle is closing in. We need to start moving out, and they are currently doing that. And another team that was looting in the blue zone is going to be the Panthers. The Panthers are now starting to come in. The only issue that they're going to be running into is that the way they're currently trying to come in is covered by everybody, and they do have the height advantage. They're getting lucky. Oh, legal! The M24 is just nasty. Oh, man.
That is nuts. The machine gunner nest gets a nice little defense. We immediately see Panthers try something else, and they pivot off, but you can see they're headed right towards Syntax. So, like, literally, the Panthers just don't have a lot of options. Actually, Syntax just left. Panthers may be able to get away with a backfill. I can tell you nothing else is going to happen over here by the machine gunner's nest until they potentially get crashed again, but I'm not sure that's going to happen as Syntax is passing to the west of them. And this is huge for the Panthers. The Panthers are still watching as everyone else rotates towards the middle. They may be able to just go play some sort of defilade and survive until the end. So here's Koba as Syntax is, well, they're right in the thick of things again. And it didn't work for them last time, Noah.
Oh, yeah. You know, like what happened last game, they fortified and then just unfortunate circumstances. Right now, they're kind of surrounded by teams. Lucky for them, Vengeance is going to the southern side of the zone, so they might be actually getting a little bit of luck on their side, and they might only have to take on one team here, which would be just the best case scenario for them.
Zone and luckily for the Panthers, I was going to say, luckily for the Panthers right now in those warehouses, they're actually surrounded by a fence that it cannot be destroyed, whether it's by machine guns or by a car crashing in. So they're getting super lucky with that.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm pretty sure Vengeance is going to be aware of that.
So they'll lock in. Meanwhile, Cinders is going to take a shot unexpectedly to the face, I think. Some nice shooting there. Is Vengeance also suffering some damage? The back and forth between these two teams. Vengeance has the better position. And to be fair, Violent by Nature can pull off of this fight if they want to. There is Western real estate open. The issue is, are you comfortable abandoning players at this stage of the game? Because it's a lot harder to green smoke people in, Seven.
It definitely is. right now, I mean, it's just pure luck for them. They're currently having the time. Yes, they are gonna have to worry about vengeance as we're seeing right now. But if they wanted to, they could revive some of those extra players that they can knock. And as I was mentioning earlier, that fence. Let me tell you, I play this a lot. And when you have a fence that you don't have to worry about getting destroyed by the enemy team, it's gonna give you just some extra comfort. It's gonna give you some extra time to play out of how you're gonna be playing, and you don't have to worry about getting crashed in through the fence by the enemy.
But how'd you learn that? I have a vision of you driving around the map just bumping into things for days at a time.
That is exactly what happens.
Exactly what I did.
Watch his streams, yeah.
Today's stream is What's Breakable with 7 Worlds. I like that. That's
And then he
actually a
says
great
it's
idea.
on purpose, but in reality, he just can't control his vehicles.
It's on purpose. It's on purpose. I know what I'm doing.
Oh, wow. Look at this
So
rotation.
VBN actually escaped, yeah. But they don't know what they're rotating into, unfortunately, which they had the entire, as you said, western side of the map to themselves, and they go to the east, where there's going to be 2 or maybe even 3 teams waiting.
You know,
And I love
sometimes you
that
look
they
at
have,
these.
Oh, no. Look at this.
He's they're just waiting for him to come in. And I will say this, as you looked at the map, you saw a whole empty space. If you don't know the map, that alone should tell you how bad the cover on that side of the map is the fact that Violent by Nature chose to drive all the way around to where the fights were because there was nothing to hide behind on the west.
And now, as you said, that Violent by Nature decides to just back off with at least 2 players,
Yeah.
check that airdrop. And something that we got to keep in mind is some of these teams that were taking a long time, whether it was in the blue zone or just taking a long time in a certain compound. Since.
Yeah, it's just open season right now.
That's
That was
the
in, like, middle
downside
of
of
the zone.
the late green. There's nothing. That was the edge of the zone. Like, that's how bad it is. If you green post 4, everybody can shoot you.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say, as Saints' just unlucky streak continues there, we gotta keep an eye on some of these teams that are actually gonna have the shields. It's looking like the next circle is not really gonna have that much cover. You're gonna have some trees here and there, but not any actual buildings. If you're able to utilize those shields, and for the people that do have the vehicles, remember, we can definitely use those as shields as well. Just blow them up. You don't have to worry about the enemy blowing them up. And that's exactly what the Vengeance is doing right now. They're going to be the first team to rotate and try to get that high ground.
With no honor, it's another shot there on Syntax as the fight breaks out. Violent by Nature's on the opposite side, so Syntax is fighting a push here, but also dealing with snipers from the machine gunner's nest. Peel is going to push in. Coda tries to get a nice little play. Koba drops low, and he is just going to hold that angle. Peel comes around the back, gets that knock. He's trying to find Caveman. Syntax in a similar position as last time. Things are unraveling quickly as Peel comes around the right, sees the knock man, goes for the last member standing of STX. He's in the back corner. He gets flashed and has to fall back, so Peel can't continue to push forward. Caveman tries to capitalize on it, but he's already at 11 HP. Falls back, turns around, lickety split. He is done. Syntax puts up a fight, and Caveman tucks into the back and tries to survive, as his namesake is wont to do, but it will not happen, as Violent by Nature comes in and absolutely dominates. Remember, this is a team that rotated here out of desperation, and they walk away with, well, I'll say 3, because I don't think they're going to go back and get...
Yeah, there's no shot. That's a lost cause over there.
Uh-oh. Speaking of lost causes, let's jump into this fight right now as Vengeance comes forward, already taking a major punch to the face against Machine Gun Nest, and they will be eradicated. This is the Vengeance that I am used to seeing, Seven.
And this is the Vengeance that I was trying to highlight to you guys. The rotation that they did, I mean, they're currently, I was trying to highlight they're a shield. They have a shield. They set themselves up for greatness there. They were the first team to rotate there. They knew that was going to be the highest, one of the highest points of that final circle. Everything that Vengeance is doing right now is working out perfect. I do hope they are able to pick up X-Men, though, because that was a major player in their previous
hopefully
win.
they can recover before VBN pushes in, but they got the pressure on right now.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, though, only one player pushed forward.
Oh,
it was the scout, but it's Jedi. Jedi puts in some work as he comes up and over. Crown's got that P90. He wants to make a play. Vengeance is already down to just one player and tries to make it happen. It won't. That's it. Easy.
Across the map.
Well, that's the issue. So there's that. You saw that little shield out there, and I think that's relevant. There, Seven, is like there's so little cover here. Even that shield seems minuscule and irrelevant, right? Like, everything is so spread out in this part of the map. It's gonna come down to range, and I think there's a chance we see a team win from outside the circle for the first time.
I think so too, and I think right now with these two teams fighting, Team 8, which is going to be BBN, and then we have Pure Love fighting. Guess what? The Panthers are just chilling, and something that I'm enjoying right now. Khaled was thinking about maybe trying to go get a different angle. They're not too close to each other. They're trying to find a split. And as I say that, the Panthers start getting shot. I'm just caster cursing them here.
Yeah, well, I think I'd have to give it to VBN right now, just based off of the position. They have the high ground, and then the zone's not going to force them immediately. So both Panthers and Pure Love are going to have to rotate and just find their way out in the open to the zone. But yeah, VBN's just going to be able to spray both teams from their high ground position. A lot of cover to work with, and then not too much pressure. So just based off of the map right now, I think I'd have to give it to them.
And honestly,
just got knocked by fall damage. Sorry, I just had to point that out.
It's fine, but not to take anything away. Most of these teams are now very aware that they've all qualified for the next round. So what you're going to see here is very likely going to be some cheeky shenanigans, if you will.
The vehicles came in unexpectedly. I was not expecting that. So now it's about to be just like,
yeah, they're just having a good time. Game 6 scrims, if you will.
Oh my gosh.
Jedi out here is getting tailed around by a car. He tries to go around, but it's just a firing line. Pure going for the pub strat of drive a car until they hate you. But they roll it.
Oh
no. Who drove? Someone's fired.
Oh my gosh. So that's what the caster curse feels like, huh?
Yes, that is exactly what it feels like. They're down to, they aren't out of it though, because they managed to get the kill, so there's time to go for a res. The Panthers though decide it's time for car v car violence.
Yeah.
Slid jumps into a vehicle and drives over the high ground.
Does the zone. Oh my gosh. Well, so basically everything I talked about zone positioning just went out the window because every other team had 3 vehicles.
Yep.
Was not expecting that.
And more importantly, qualified, right? Like they all thing and went, oh, we're through to the next round. Let's hijinks it.
Full send energy, baby.
Which I love. I mean, we saw M249 do it, Seven, when they did the pan attack on, I think it was Burn in Silence a week ago. I don't know if you got to, you may have missed that, Noah, but literally M249 was qualified and they said, forget about it, threw their guns to the side and pan raided the last man and ended up pulling it out the last second. But it was a very sort of, hey, we made it, which
I think that good right now.
Yes. But it also speaks to everyone else in the lobby is that you have to take your risks early, Seven, because once these teams with asterisks get to the point where they're like guaranteed the next round, they don't do anything that's logical. They just play out their minds. And as a pro, that's not what you want to see.
Yeah, you're going to be seeing them try out different strats. You mentioned it. They don't have the pressure of having to qualify to the grand finals. You're already there, so why not just try crazy stuff? Teams, I got to tell something to the teams right now.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they start realizing the support player needs to have more shields. I was hoping to see a lot more shields. You saw how wide open that area was. We only saw 1 shield that whole time. I want to see more. You have that cover. The game gives it to you. Why not use it?
Absolutely. That's the end of our first set of games. That's the round of 16. We're going to wait for our second lobby to also wrap up, and then we're going to come back with the 4 top teams from each side. Before we call it and take a little bit of a break here to get our lobby set up, Noah, this is your first time with us here. You got a chance to watch 2 games with some pretty hard-hitter teams. What's your takeaway? What would you get, or maybe a pep talk for the other lobby that's about to join this chaos?
Pep talk. You can do it, yay! No, I think my takeaway is exactly. I mean, maybe I'm just like blinded by my own strategies, but those teams that did take those early on risks and just challenged fights early on, and then again, if they had a player or 2 get dropped, go and get those revives mid-game, they seem to be the ones that were most successful. The players that took those early risks, got those squad elims, because that's 4 points, which is almost half of what an entire win is. So definitely getting those off the rip, valuable. And then once they had all of that loot, the momentum of the points, they just kind of steamrolled mid-game, picked up another 1 or 2, and then positioned for end game, got those points. So definitely, the early aggression and then mid to late game strategies, those teams ended up coming out on top.
Well, we are going to find out which teams came out on top of the other lobby to join the Big 8 going to the grand final. My name is Toffees. I am joined by Seven Worlds and Noah from YouTube. We'll be back after this break with the final and the top 2 teams who advance.
Well, the first two games were crazy. The last one was pure insanity. As Pure makes what we can only guess is a YOLO we've qualified already send, and ultimately it cost them, but it doesn't matter because we know which teams are advancing to the round of 8. My name is Toffees. I'm joined by 7 Worlds Gaming and Noah from YouTube to break down all of the action. But why talk about it when we can do it, gentlemen? It's highlights.
That's right, the highlights, and we are gonna start off hot with some of these teams. I mean, by the way, the barrel rolls some of these players were trying to hit, Noah. I feel like we don't really give those enough credit, but barrel rolls are amazing in new state, and they can actually help you dodge some bullets and get to safe cover.
Yeah, personally, I wouldn't use it as like an offensive movement just because it's not like great peeking a corner like that. But as far as a defensive maneuver, trying to get away from players, trying to get to cover, it is fantastic, especially at those longer ranges. I find it, for myself personally at least, I'm not a professional, although Toph says I am. It's very difficult to hit players doing that.
He's being modest. He is a pro, okay? I have played games with this man before. He always gets at least 20 more elims than I get.
Ooh,
and I'm not even lying. But going back to some of this ones, I actually wanted to give Peel a shout out from BBN because he was the player with the most elims in that previous round, at least for our group. He ended up with 8 elims. If he can maintain that kind of form here in the finals, they might be able to put up those 2K in their pocket. And I feel like Pure just decided to blow themselves up there at the end. I want to go back and watch it at some point again just to make sure, but this is the standing Stoffies. Violent by Nature with 29 points and Vengeance with 27 points. Those are actually, they ended up fairly close to each other.
3 asterisks make the advance. Vengeance is the only team that has not qualified for the grand final to make it into the round of 8, which is good news for everybody in the group because the top 2 get to go through today. So Vengeance is going to be doing a great job there as they didn't eke through, they earned their way through, and we cannot stress that enough. Let's take a look at Group A, the group that was playing as we watched B. They were off stream, but M249 continues to dominate with 39 points for the advance. Nori Aim, 7 even nation. Wait a minute. Are these guys connected to you?
I have no idea what you're talking about, sir.
Interesting. 7 Nations Army and Strangers BD. Let's put them all together and meet the 8 teams that will be taking the field in the Noah from YouTube Influencer Final. Pure Love, M249, 7 Nations Army, Vengeance, Nori Aim, Violent by Nature, the Panthers, and Strangers BD. You know I like to hear you pick your favorites. Let's go, Noah. Who you like here?
So in the first round of what we just watched, you know, I was being a Pure Love fanboy and really just talking about how much I love Long. But, I mean, if there's one team here that just stands out more than any other, and that's M249. I don't think any of us here are going to disagree that that's got to be the favorite to just dominate here. They've won every single thing they've done. And then even in that last bracket, I saw that they had more elim points than placement points with like 20-something, which is just crazy to think. So that's going to be my top pick is M249.
I like it. 7, who's your pick?
Yeah, by the way, what Noah was trying to tell you is in our group, the top team had around 29 points. In the other group, M249 had 23 points just on elims.
Yeah.
That is just ridiculous, and that's why I'm picking M249. I mean, I've been talking about it the whole day. I want Panthers and M249. I want to see that madness, even though Panthers has been so-so today.
All right, because I like a good contest, I'll pick the Panthers, but I also like to learn, which is why we have our brand new feature, Noah from Mall.
We're doing Noah from Mall now. Man, they just keep changing my name. Okay, so talking about Mall. Typically on the 8v8 map, it's in the center of the zone. And again, in these public matches, it's going to be a hot drop central zone location. But in 4v4, in the BR Extreme mode here, we don't see it as often be even on the map in general. It was in our last one, and we had La Familia land there, where they ended up getting a whole lot of loot credits and like the drone credits, loot, everything. They were prepared for fights, and then Pure Love comes out of nowhere in the vehicle, drive by, just wipe the squad as they were trying to rotate out from zone. And then Pure Love pretty much had all of the loot that Mall has to offer, which, like I said, it is a high tier loot zone. So definitely pure love. They had anything that they needed to work with in their inventory. And then, I mean, we saw how it ended up finishing in that match. They just drove off of a clip, flipped, but, you know, they had their inventory stacked.
Absolutely. And most people go to the mall to lose money, but Pure goes there to get absolutely loaded as they come out with some big points from that one. Now, if you guys think that you know how to come out with the big points, if you think you've got what it takes to hang, there's one more chance to make the grand final where we have $200,000 on the line. Tomorrow is when it starts. Sign up at esl.gg/NSMM. Why not? This is a great opportunity, and tomorrow is your last day to start the grind. Honestly, I feel like if Noah wasn't sitting here with me right now, he'd be playing. Like how could I would be? How could you not? Take
How much does it cost to enter? Let me hear. How much does it cost?
It is free 99. Don't let the 99. Free 99. It's available to everyone, and think about how much you could make. That's awesome. Plus, like, you can play on your phone. Like, that makes it even easier. Like, you don't have to sit like in the house.
I had to make it rain.
Was that a money gun? Did you just money gun us out of nowhere?
You want me to do it again? I got
it.
Hold up.
More money gun. Wow. Are those 20s in your money gun? What?
Nah, we're talking pure hundreds. We're talking hundreds, baby.
Yo, we got cash. We got cash for day.
Hey, Toss, where you at? Come on.
I've got some pictures.
What is that? You got pictures?
Just throw them up
in
big cash. Big cash. Big cash. Let's get into game, baby. We're rich. We're loaded.
This could be yours.
This could be yours. You too can have the kind of money that just allows you to throw it around. Sign up now.
Unscripted, by the way.
Sign it up now. Hey, that was unscripted.
We're just that smooth.
Why do you have so much? Okay, listen. I expect this kind of stuff from Seven.
Always got to be prepared.
Okay. You're like that UFC guy who just carries $1 million around in a backpack or something. That's just wild. All right, I have a new. I know who I'm inviting to dinner next time we're in town. I'll just leave it at that. Let's take a look at the jump. It is gonna be Sunbury Alamo, the opposite side of the island that gets the feature. 8 teams, time for the drop. Now, if you are one of the teams that is not qualified, 7, 4 of the teams in this lobby already have asterisks. We're giving away 2 places. That means you only have to not be the worst. What's your plan?
Right now, with so many teams qualified and just egos on the way, I'm going to be looking at Chester. Look at all this going on right now. They want that madness. They want that vault that's in there, because if you're able to get to the vault, you might have a chance at getting one of those airdrop weapons right off the bat. And we do have some action here as Maul as well.
Ooh,
Noah,
Maul.
you talked about Maul. We got some fights early on.
Noah from Maul, and it's M249, of course, getting the first blood. Like, they're landing hot. They're shooting right away. How do you already find 2 full autos like that? Can we hear? How is that possible in the BR Extreme mode?
I mean, I love that everybody else landed was like, look, we started with pistols. And he's like, I got an AK. It's ready to go.
Yeah.
Let's do this thing.
The extra loot.
It really does. Pure love here. You got that Bison. It looks like Long's going to try to make a little bit of a play, though he is working at a deficit. You can see, look at the comms. This is my favorite part, is you can see the little configurations on the left side of the screen when they're talking to each other, and just how overly lit up that is right now, which is a big deal because comms, especially in a fight like this, are going to be the difference between success and failure, 7.
It definitely is. Right now, what I love too is that you're seeing continuing comms from the players that are actually not even on. The players that are really there. They're trying just to relay information and looking at their players, their teammates that are currently alive, and trying to see stuff that maybe they have not seen. Sometimes a lot of stuff that happens between us when we're in a fight like this, we might end up getting tunnel vision. Noah, I know it happens to me a lot. Does it ever happen to you, that tunnel vision?
I mean, I would be lying if I said it doesn't. It happens to everybody. But, you know, the best of the best can limit how often it happens. But speaking of tunnel vision, right now, I just can't stop looking at the comms. Now that you pointed it out, it's just so visually pleasing to see it all in sync, and it's just constantly lighting up for every team. Oh, man. M249, full high ground position as well. I think that's worth noting.
Absolutely, it is, and we've seen them play up in this position before. They're very, very, very good at it, and it just really comes down to a tough decision. And honestly, neither of these teams. This is a little bit of a pride game, isn't it, 7? Because both these teams have asterisks. Both of them are going to the grand final, and both of them can take the risks to sort of establish dominance.
That's right, and that's what I was trying to get to at earlier, these teams have just egos at this moment. You want to be able to talk smack the other team on Twitter, because trust me, it happens, especially in mobile. It gets spicy. These people want to be able to talk smack to each other every single night. And right now, Pure, I'm actually enjoying what I'm seeing out of Pure. They decided to back off. They know that they currently aren't going to be able to get that height advantage. So you know what? Let's try to find a way that we can gatekeep M249, because M249 with the height advantage, they are going to have to jump off at some point. Okay, they're not even in the zone. They're gonna start getting pushed by this circle.
So
we talked about how that first circle doesn't really do that much damage. It's like a mosquito flying around. It's gonna annoy you, but it's not gonna do that much damage. So at some point they will have to jump off, and I want to see how Pure Love is gonna be able to just put themselves up for this push.
It seems like Pure's sort of taking a spread around the outside. I saw them deploy a smoke and then move away from it. They're really just, it feels like, trying to keep M249 on their toes. Last time M249 fought here, we saw them doing sort of a head-to-head peak battle with another team, and they dominated there from the roof. But Pure's taking a different tack. They're using a very, kind of ratty strategy, to be honest, Noah, of locking up knowing where M249 is going to have to run when they leave and sort of locking those spots down.
Yeah, I mean, I agree completely. There's really not much they can do right now just because M249 has such great positioning, and we see Sleep now kind of making that lurker, rotation around to see if they can catch anybody slacking as far as Pure goes. Right now, it's just going to be a waiting game for both teams. But the good thing about Pure's position, it's starting to fall apart a little bit now, but they were kind of gatekeeping M249 from being able to loot the rest of Mall. So if it did come down to the zone, just ticking away everyone's HP, M249 really didn't have much looting potential besides just getting what was on the roof. So they were just playing the patient game, and they still are. But honestly, I don't know how they're going to get out of this situation, because M249 is just swarming together, and they have a man advantage right now.
They definitely do. I would have loved to have seen Pure just kind of go to the first floor and back up to the other building too, and use that outer fence in the area of Mall, because once again, that fence, it's made out of concrete. You're not really going to be able to destroy it. There is some areas where it does have wood, and they might be able to expose your cover if they decide to shoot at it. But if you're going to be able to set yourself up, right, you already know that you looted all the floors below M249, so they're not really going to have that much to loot from. Set yourself up for that step. You know they're going to have to push out, but they just decided not to.
And now we're going to check in with Seven Nation Army, one of the teams that has not qualified, as they butt up against Violent by Nature, a team that has. We're going to take a look at Vengeance here as they are eluding away. This is the team that needs to get some points. And it is worth noting that if you were to look at the minimap, the 4 teams who do not have asterisks by their name all did very wide jumps to corners of the map, whereas all of the teams that have qualified to the $200,000 grand final seem to have gone for hot spots more towards the middle.
They definitely have. I mean, right now with that middle, though, it's pretty much split, right? Within that river, where you really don't know where you're going to go to. And I'm loving that the teams are kind of going more towards the Alamo Island, going more towards that bigger piece of the pie. Right now, it's working their way. It's all going to come down, Toffees and Noah, to where this next circle is going to go. Who's going to be positioned the best way? And guess what? Pure Love and M249. I mean, actually, M249 are still over there just trying to figure out who's gonna make the first move.
Yeah, they don't want them to escape, man. And right now, it's honestly a guessing game, though, on whether or not, which island's going to be getting zoned. So they don't really have much to worry about at the moment, just because this isn't really ticking for too much damage at the moment. So they might just sit there and wait to see where the next zone goes, to be honest, and then decide whether or not they really need to book it or they can just hang out longer.
Every time that you rotate in this game, you put yourself at danger. If you have a set position inside the circle and you have control of it, any changes are putting yourself at risk, whether great risk because you don't know anything or small risks because you've gathered information or scouted. Rotating can hurt you, Seven. So there is a validity to, I think, what Noah's bringing up, this idea of just wait for what's next.
That's true. And that's actually the way a lot of people like to play. And right now, look at this. I mean, they have, for the teams that decided to be in Alamo, they're truly sitting down great. They're going to have the bigger pie of that land area. And guess what? With teams 3 and team 6, they are going to have to worry about this river. Who's going to decide to make that move? Because after the next map, I mean, we're only going to have one bridge. You're not going to be able to access this bridge or this bridge. I mean, you can, but the zone is going to start hurting. And if you are going to make the swim, you have to make sure it happens when a team is distracted. So making that rotation early on, and I would love to see, Toppies, the 2-2 split. We saw it last week, and it worked out wonders for some teams. If you can get a 2-2 split on that bridge, the only bridge that's going to be available on that zone, it might end up working out for you.
I can't believe after everything this long into the game, we've only lost one player so far, Noah. That's kind of wild.
Wow.
Pure's down 1, and that's it.
Yeah, I find it funny that after that whole Pure M249 standoff, M249 just left, and Pure's still sitting outside of the zone. I believe they're still at the mall right now, just eating it and probably looting up, seeing if they can eventually get that one player who did get eliminated back.
I've been to the food court. Sometimes you just need to stay at the mall.
You just want to stay there forever, huh?
Those samples. There's no, Panda Express samples are the legit.
So that's why you didn't have any money when we were throwing it around. That's where all the money goes.
To orange chicken samples. Yes, that you've got me. You've got me. And all of the pie metaphors are hitting real good too. Let's take a look at the Panthers up here on top of the hill. These are guys who have already qualified. They've put up a lot of points, but they like bragging rights. I expect to see them continue to look for some fights because coming out in the lead of the lobby means a lot to them. And I got to assume, Seven, that everyone else is starting to get irritated with M249. Like, that's a lot of money they've taken.
They definitely are. And the thing with M249 is they tend to be the passive team. The only time we ever see them fighting early on is if they do get hot drop, which we just saw what happened there. And in a way, they ended up winning that hot drop by taking one Elam point. With M249, what I'm going to be looking at them doing now is just going to a place, finding a good compound to just hold it into the next circle, slowly start moving in, let the teams fight it out, especially on the other side of the island, because right now I think if I'm not mistaken, we have somewhere along the lines of 5 teams on just one area that are very close to each other. So with M249, they're just gonna be playing their game, playing that patient game. And now, hey, guess what? Andy's coming back for Pure Love, so it's gonna be a full reset here as we haven't really lost anybody.
So whatever they got out, they definitely needed. Now they said NoahFromYoutube going to come in. This is a chance for them to put some points on the board. They're a team that needs to qualify. They want to get off to a good start. They played slow. They dropped long. This is our first chance to see them get into a heated battle. The problem is that the team that they are fighting are the Panthers. This is a team that has taken no prisoners and has been very strong. Colin, in particular, has been very well represented in these fights. Looks like he does have an off angle. They're down to 3 inside of this compound, and maybe that'll give a little bit of an advantage to Nori as they try to work their way up. What? Never mind. Vortex goes down. Colin immediately pushes in. Legal comes from the opposite side to try to cover. Look how spread out they are. And there we got C-Miner trying to stop another team from getting involved as NoahFromYoutube starts to realize that if you're going to push a fight, you got to finish it fast because there are a lot of hungry animals out here looking to get a little extra points.
They definitely are. They're gonna be in the lookout right now. If they might end up getting third party. Remember, this area is becoming smaller and smaller, and you are going to leave yourself exposed for that third party as the Panthers are fully aware of that. They're making sure that nobody's going to be creeping up on top of those hills, on top of those mountains, and make a push towards them. It has happened before. It could happen here, as we do see currently 7 Nations Army starting to push up and try to find an angle, so maybe they can get some third parties.
I mean, they need to do something. This is taking way too long, to be completely honest. And there's only one player there. Like all of this work is going into getting one Panther, and he immediately pounces, gets the kill, ducks back into the smoke, blind fires the corner, reloads, says, I hate doors. Meanwhile, Scalona up on top is trying to fight another Panther. These guys don't hunt in packs. They're cats. They work on their own. Hunter has got himself a nice knock there on Saz. So that'll be another cat down as Scalona continues to try to push forward. A lot of damage coming out. Crazy is down, and he is going to try to crawl for a little bit of hate. And meanwhile, Colin's still up here.
Still happening.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
He got it. Yeah. He goes down, takes 2 points with him. Then we go to Hunter, who's got a Panther in his sight. I'm not sure this is legal, but he is definitely poaching.
He definitely is, and with NoahFromYoutube, I mean, that was maybe one of the worst plays I have seen in New State. You have the numbers, and you decide to go with just give the player 1v1s. That is, Noah, I wish they were just all pushed together.
Oh, yeah, especially in those, like, stairwells. That's the worst spot to do those single pushes. But at the same time, I will, like, give him a little bit of props because you don't want to just all push together at the exact time on those stairwells, because that's when you just get sprayed together because of how condensed they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, come on, just like run up, you know, together, a coordinated push, because that should not have taken the like 5 minutes it took to eliminate them.
Yep. Especially because there's no friendly
completely.
fire. Like, you're not going to get knocked from your buddy. Like,
Everybody just go in spraying. You know, what is it? Accuracy by volume?
Accuracy
Is
through
it?
volume.
Accuracy through volume.
If all of you are stuck with 30-round mags, it doesn't matter. That's 120 rounds headed down range, right? Like, just push. Sometimes it has to play that way. But live, learn. That's the whole point of getting involved with the beginning of a scene, is kind of figure out what works for your team. Now, let's jump over to here. We see more drops coming out as we get to witness M249 Fan Club continuing they're playing more passive than I expected, Seven. Not really passive, but compared to what I'm used to, a little passive.
Yeah, I think this is what I was alluding to. They're just going to play their game. They're going to be patient. They're going to be seeing what the other teams are going to be doing as well. What I do love right now is that, guess what? The game is just teasing everybody. It's like, hey, here's an airdrop, middle of the river. Does anybody want to take it? And nobody's willing to take it. I'm going to be looking right now at these two teams on this side, Team 6 and Team 1. If it goes to the other side, how are you going to be able to rotate? The one thing that I would love to see, if they do have to rotate, that we got a chance to see previously, is just send the cars to the river. Don't be scared of doing that. It's gonna put you at a least of a risk of actually being exposed to maybe people shooting at you, and you can always hold your breath a little bit longer and let them think, okay, maybe they're not gonna be making it out of there. Maybe the teams will end up getting shot by somebody else, get their party, and then the opening will happen for you to actually make the move. So it's gonna be interesting of how that final circle is gonna play out.
So it looks
I'm
like...
gonna point this out real quickly. Sorry to interrupt you, but Pure took 13 and a half minutes to finally get out of the zone for the first time since it closed in. And now they're just sitting there and kind of getting shot at, but they're all still alive. But they sat in the zone for 13 and a half minutes.
I can't believe he's gonna land. That is, I mean, but again, like, there are players who love the blue. I think Chaco was talking about his buddy Bob, who lives in the blue.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is.
I mean, we're 15 minutes deep, and only 3 players in total have been finished. Everyone keeps getting brought back.
It's the first game fallacy. A lot of these teams think that if I play passive on the first game, somebody else will make a mistake. Which, you know, I mean, what's your take on that, Seven? This idea that I'd rather they mess up than I do.
I love it. That's the way I like to play. If you don't have to take on a fight, trust me, I as much as I love taking a fight, if I don't actually have to take the fight, let everybody else take the fight. And then Pure took 13 minutes to get out of the blue, and now we know why. Because as soon as they got out of the blue, they were going to start getting shut down and get eliminated.
Go out in the blue for like 13 more.
Yes. Well, that's what I mean. That's why I call it the first game fallacy, because you do get teams that take this idea of 13 minutes, and you're right. I agree. In traditional Battle Royale, if I don't have to take the risk, somebody else should. But there's also that side product of, if they had just crashed middle early like they normally do, Seven, then that probably would never have happened. You know what I mean? Or they took the fight early and they got to rest a little longer.
Yeah, I think it has to do with that fight with M249. Maybe they weren't expecting M249 to be there, which is surprising to me, or maybe they did just want to take that fight and try to something different. Something that you mentioned earlier, Toff, is we see the Panthers here being able to just pick on some fights from the Nori. Oh man, Nori, I just feel bad for them. Nothing has worked out for them so far in this match. What I was going to say with Pure and M249, maybe they're just trying out different strats. Remember, these are teams that are already qualified to the grand finals, and so this is the first match. This will be the time to try out that strat, because that's another team that you're going to see in the grand finals. How are they going to react if you do hot dropping? So they could have been just collecting some data.
Yeah, no,
that is true.
Yeah, I think a lot of other teams are. I think in Nori's situation, I just think that they feel a little bit outclassed. I hate to say it, but it's the first time that I've seen them in the final, and they've got some great shooting. They've had some great moments, but it doesn't seem to be coming together. And I think that that's fine. Like, if they come back tomorrow, you get a whole lot more time and games to really get your feet under you. And this isn't the last tournament either. We're going to be back in the future. So get as much competitive experience as you can. Another team to look at is Seven Nation Army. That is the orange 3 on your map right now. This is another team that we haven't seen a lot of and are not qualified for the final, and they seem to have pretty good positioning knowledge, Seven.
They really do, and I was actually looking at Violent by Nature there. That's the only team that's on the other side, and that's actually outside of the circle. They're going to have to make a push across that river. as I looked at that, if they actually decide to crash those vehicles to the river, they're going to have to cover by the cliffs of that river. So it might end up working out in their favor.
It'll be interesting. It's one of those things, too, I think that once that blue closes, if they maybe come in a little bit, like, crash their cars a little bit after the blue's locked in, then there's a chance nobody even notices them, Noah, because once the blue closes in a Battle Royale, a lot of us stop looking.
Yeah, for sure, and especially in these late games. Oh, okay, you see they're actually
they're going for
exactly what Seven said, yeah, with the vehicle strat crashing it, and they're actually getting the free drop as well. A little, you know, get it if you can. It's like a fishing bait, right?
Being that test dummy. Who's gonna go for it? Who's gonna go for it? They're like, yeah, we will.
Yeah, but for sure you can catch some teams sleeping if you are that crazy psycho team that did like hold out in zone quietly and just snaked around. But it seems like most of the team did get past M249, and they could be in a position to just either hide and wait till other zones are out or other players are out in the open, or they could just fight M249 and take out the big dogs. But as I say that, there goes one player from the team to M249.
Yep, and the thing right there, Noah, is though, even though he did get knocked, even though he is gonna end up getting eliminated, I love that they decided to keep one player back. That way, when after they crash those cars, he would be able to relay some intel. Hey, there's nobody there. This is actually where I'm getting shot from. So if you're gonna go for it, this is now the time to actually make that push. And now we're seeing it. Violent by nature, Cruelly making a push, Cruelly being aggressive. So everything worked out perfect, even though they did end up losing a player in that rotation.
I like that.
Yeah, I'd say that was more of a distraction player back over there. So the rest of the team could just safely rotate. So that was definitely a heads-up play. And that's a team player you have right there.
Yeah, sacrifices for the team. Not trying to make the highlight reel, but trying to make a real win happen. Cinder's going to lay down as Violent by Nature does continue to try to push forward. They're going for those reses. We may run into some... They made trouble as Nori Aim is very quietly. You can see in your mini-map sneaking around behind them. And that could be the end of Jedi, as I don't think they have any clue that that's about to happen. M249 is going to play the water line, but they're outside the circle. The real story is Vengeance, who continues to have to put up big numbers in order to qualify, has a compound and has a lot of people in their gun sights.
They definitely do. Atomic FPS, the only player alive right now. You mentioned it. He's being super quiet, and this might end up working for him. I'm hoping if he doesn't have to, don't shoot anybody, goes for those placement points. It's going to benefit you massively.
Ooh.
There's no reason. Oh, stay down, please.
Yeah.
Just stay down.
That turned around quickly.
Yeah.
Look how much we talked about the damage in these late circles. Look how fast Atomic FPS was dropping there, and the circle's closing quickly. He's going to have to pick up and just run for it. M249 though has completely engaged Violent by Nature, so they are not going to look behind him. In fact, Atomic's biggest threat will now come from M249 or the blue, as it looks like he may just accept his situation. He's taking a ton of damage out there, and that does mean that Violent by Nature is in a much better position than they were a minute ago.
They're about to lose Jedi from the back, but that turned into M249 unknowingly saving him, and then Atomic FPS is just going to end up getting eaten by the zone. And once they got weak, you know, starting to heal up in that zone pushing, there's really nothing you could do because you don't have the time to sprint out of there without healing. So there's really no other option but to just eat the zone and try to heal up, hoping you get maybe some placement points.
All right, Kairos and M249 now pushing up as Vengeance tries to hold the ground. They do the first peek. Kairos goes left to right. Got that vector, trying to make a play here. Has to fall back to the right side. He hears Violent by Nature making the push. Kairos is going to be the first one to push in. He ends up going down. Violent by Nature locks out the outside of the wall. Meanwhile, Scalona from the distance trying to cause trouble. These guys are uncontested, and they have the circle. Congratulations on your win. Let's see what happens on the other side of the map as the chaos continues to unfold. Jedi is out. M249 is hurting. They're down to one. Vengeance needs to win this to make it a 4v4. Kitty Cat, though, is a legend already in the short time that she's been in this game and will continue to be, as this could be huge issues because Vengeance can't afford to wait and hunt down Kitty Cat. They're going to have to go and take the fight with 7NA, Noah, and she just pops up behind and takes them all out.
Yeah, there's nothing either one of those teams outside the zone are going to be able to do here. I don't know if Seven Worlds out here was cheating the system. We're seeing some crazy elims. Hold up.
Kitty Cat got a nice shot over there across the way. Hunter's trying to get a good shot out. M249 did ultimately go down, but it cost Vengeance 2 players. 7 Nations. Army is 4 strong with the circle. Vengeance is hoping for the best.
the rumble, but it's not enough. We're down to one. A hope, a prayer. It's been the man they dropped out of qualification. So he'll be the last to stand, but ultimately falls, though with 7 eliminations is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, I think 7 was cheating the system behind the scenes there with the radar, putting it right on Team 7. Like, that was crazy. They had buildings, they had every opponent in front of them, no one behind them, and zone. Like, there was no way they were going to lose that. The new state gods just saved them. But yeah, crazy game, and on top of that, how many elims did they have as a team? They had a lot.
Yeah, 13. 13 to start off.
It's a 23-point game right there.
Okay, 7, how much can we attribute that 13 to their position? Because there will be people who are watching that are like, oh, they just got the circle and the circle and the circle. Like, is that due to location, or do you think that they went out and actually got those?
No, if you have the circle, take full advantage of it. We have seen teams before get the circle and take 0 advantage of it. That actually speaks volumes of Seven's Nation's army. They were able to use what the game give them. There's nothing wrong if you, for some reason, position yourself, you end up getting the circle. Hey, be blessed. You're just gonna have to worry about people pushing towards you, and they did just that. They did seem to be wanting to third party the fight between M249 and by nature early on, which is good too. They weren't just waiting for things to happen. They were trying to be proactive, and they make sure they position themselves too. They make sure they got the angle. So overall, what great game by Seven Nations Army. Now in the next game, if for some reason you don't get blessed by the zone, I would like to see how they're gonna be reacting to that.
Is there a chance that you'll sponsor this team? Maybe change the name to 7 Worlds Army if they do well? Maybe
nah, I still want to do this show.
Oh, fair. Okay, yeah. He's not an owner yet.
Yeah, not a public owner, we should say. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced.
I'm not convinced either. It does seem very suspect. Well, my name is Safiz. I'm joined by 7 Worlds Game, and we got Noah from YouTube down there, and we are going to be back in just a couple of minutes with game number 2 of 4. In the final, 2 teams advance. The rest cry. Who's it gonna be? Don't go anywhere. It's a big game number 1 as the Seven Nations armies continue to refuse to be held back. They march on to a strong beat, and they collect another white stripe as a victory ribbon is placed on their jerseys. It's a good game for them. My name's Toffees. I'm joined by Seven Worlds and Noah from YouTube. But before we talk about what's next, let's take a look back at what was. It's highlights.
It is highlights time, and I want to actually see if we're going to see anything else from the Seven Nations Army, Noah. We talked about it. They kept getting super blessed by that zone. Here's pure love. You even mentioned it. They were in the blue zone for 13 minutes. As soon as they got out, they just went back to the lobby, waiting.
Yeah, they got as many points in 13 minutes as they would have gotten if they immediately were wiped from M249 there in the beginning. But you know what? Hey, at least they had fun playing. They didn't have to just sit there and watch. So, you know, credit for them for at least enjoying New State a little bit.
They got to use those drone credits that they had in Mall. Actually, they didn't even get to use them. They're still with them. And then we had Seven Nations Army. Yeah, that's right. From
Full
the blue
advantage.
zone. That's about it. Seven Nations Army, though. I mean, they didn't have to do anything. What a how blessed can you get right now?
I mean, you know, being blessed by the zone is one thing, but being able to take advantage of it is another. And they definitely did 13 elim points here in this lobby is crazy.
That's a huge amount of points. And you're right, it is a very strong lobby. Vengeance, another team who would like to qualify, is going to come in second place. And then we got the asterisks behind them, which is kind of a big deal, Seven, because 2 teams advanced this week.
2 teams will be advancing, and I'm looking at some of the other teams there towards the bottom, too. I'm going to be looking at Nori Aim. I mean, technically, even though you're currently not there within the top 2, you could make a push. You could possibly make that push to be within the top 2.
I'm glad you mentioned them, because I couldn't even see them so far down there. So hopefully they pick it up and come back this time around. Now, we've had a really good feature. We've got Noah here visiting us today, and he's been teaching us really about locations, how to get out of them, what they offer. So let's do another one of our popular segments. It is Noah from Water.
Oh, from water. What am I supposed to say about the water? I don't have any notes for this. It was wet. There was a crate. It was crazy. That's it. I don't have anything else for you, man. It's water.
I mean, that's it. I was scared of it for a portion of my life, and then I almost died, and now I'm still scared of it. That's not true. I like it, but I did almost die to it. It's crazy. You're right, though, and that is the situation that water presents, though. If we're a little bit serious for a second, Seven, is like it's like a road that there's no cover, but it's worse than that because you can't take your car, you can't do it quickly, and it's wet. Exactly. No one likes to be wet, right? I don't. It takes forever to dry off this and get this hair fixed. Like, you think this hair just happens naturally? It doesn't, Seven.
I'm just gonna bite my tongue. But yeah, anyways, in regards to that, in regards to the cars and the water, okay, it played out wonderfully for them. We were saying, what is the team that's gonna be on the other side of that river gonna be able to do? They did exactly what I wanted them to do. Crash into that river, held a person back, whether it was for distraction or to relay information, and then make that push as soon as the other team started fighting. It worked out wonders, and luckily for them, Nori Aim decided to just heal off, because if he didn't decide to heal off, somebody would have paid from BBN.
Absolutely. All right. Now, while the rest of us sit here and wonder if Seven will ever button that button so we can see what the actual text on his shirt says, I want you guys to take the time and go sign up right now. The last open qualifier starts tomorrow. You need to sign up for it. ESL.gg/NSMM, because a lot of letters smashed together makes the most sense. Get there, get in the game. $200,000 on the line. I cannot stress that enough. Okay. The next match is about to get underway. This is a situation, Noah, where I think there's no other option but the bottom teams to go ham. There's 3 games left. There's 2 teams that need to qualify at the very top of the board, right? Then the next 3 all have asterisks, and the bottom 2 need to qualify but have almost no points. I think the numbers are 1 and 5. So how do you approach the next game if you're Nori or Strangers?
So you guys were talking about this a lot in the beginning. A lot of teams were ego dropping is what you were calling it. So a lot of those teams that have already qualified have just been going to, you know, either designated hot drop like what is on the map, or they've been going to like the first POIs. So if I was one of those teams that is lower in the standings right now, I would probably just, you know, full send it at one of those first locations and see if I could get like a quick 4-point squad wipe, just because those 4 points make up such a huge amount. And they're not like, yeah, okay, the teams that haven't qualified, they're down in the standings, like low, but they don't have to beat many teams. They don't have to climb back out of so many points right now. So those 4 points are going to be a huge difference. I would say just go for the early kills. I've been saying that all night.
Well, that was a giant clock tower. I agree with you. Go for the early kills, make those plays, but the clock tower was just so there.
All right, let's see that. It was crazy.
It was. It was wild. No, you can't climb to the top as far as I know. Plane's going to come in. It's right down the middle. It's actually a pretty good circle, 7. I would assume South Island not even going to be play into this one. So this reminds me of the circles we had our first week.
Yeah, and look at 3 teams now going towards where Chester is at. They want that. They want that lock rate, okay? They want to be able to get that airdrop weapon right away. Something that I actually wanted to mention is, if you're 7 Nations Army, are you gonna want to be aggressive, or are you gonna play like passive with such a huge cap that they have right now? If I'm 7 Nations Army, I'm starting off to play passive. I'm gonna put myself into a location and see if maybe with the luck that you currently had after that first game, hopefully you get blessed by the circle again.
But passivity is a tricky meter, right?
Yep.
I mean, the idea is like you can be passive on the edge and pull a pure, and then what do you get out of it? Or maybe when everyone else is dropping, you just rotate first and find a spot near the next circle where you can hopefully get 4 if somebody crashes you. But you have to move early, and so your passivity is maybe less gear but a better spot. And I think that's what these teams need to find a balance of. Noah, is sort of knowing when to risk it and knowing when to sit and wait for the biscuit.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, you never know what's going on. We have all the intel here with the map and the location of all the teams, so we don't really know what 7 Even Nation has in their mind right now. But I don't blame them for trying to go for Chester off the start, at least. It looks like they finally pulled away once they saw that there were other teams. They are up in points right now, so they don't really need those initial encounters. But if other teams get crazy numbers, they can catch up pretty quickly. So hindsight, you know, personally, I would just keep playing my style. And I've done this in other BR tournaments as well, is I will go. I've actually publicly tweeted my location in a tournament. I said, I'm going to land here every single time. And I did the entire time. We ended up winning. So I would say, you know, if it's working out, keep doing it. Keep risking it. Keep going hot.
Yeah, I will say in the professional PUBG PC scene, teams specifically, as soon as they can, share their drops on social media, hoping that will encourage other teams not to go there because the risk is too high for early fights. And I wonder if we'll start to see part of that. But I will touch on
mental games.
It is, right? As we follow 7 Nations Army on their transition towards the mall, Pure is once again in a face-off against M249.
Yes.
They lost one, and I got to ask you, 7, like, obviously you both qualified. Maybe this is a jockeying for dominance situation, but Pure doesn't strike me as the kind of team that should be jockeying for dominance with M249. Is that an incorrect assessment?
No. You're absolutely on the money. Remember what I was saying about Pure Love? They usually don't tend to be that aggressive team.
Yeah.
I think what that team is doing right now is they're just collecting that data. They're trying to see what's going to happen if they do drop with M249. And so far, it's not working out for them. They have lost that. They have been the only team out of that hot drop that they have lost just one player, and then they have to back off. And then you have to figure out, okay, you know what? That's not going to work, which I think what it comes down to is just collect as much data as you can. I wouldn't be surprised. They've done it twice now. I thought it was only going to happen on that first match. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they try to do it on the next 2 matches too, because right now, Pure Love, I mean, sitting with 0 points, yeah, you got nothing to lose. You know, you're already in the grand finals.
Absolutely
2K
not.
sounds nice, but just collect more data.
Data points are always good. I also kind of wonder to a certain extent. Now, we assume that these teams are going out and doing tons of research between matches. That probably isn't always true. I'm sure a lot of these teams are just having a great time. And it does seem like Pure took the strategy of we're going to drop middle in the last couple of games, like high value. And it just so happens maybe they're learning on the fly that M249 also prioritizes high value middle drops. And the real question is going to be, how long does Pure commit to this before they say, okay, we're going to have to reprogram the way that we approach this? And I will say, I'm going to pivot off of that, Noah, to you, because you said you wanted to keep an eye on them today, based a lot on their stats, I think, in some of the previous performances they had. What's your takeaway? Wow, nice shot. What's been your takeaway on Pure since we've started watching them today?
So honestly, I don't know if they've been intentionally landing on M249 these games. I definitely feel as if they might be trying something different, like you guys had mentioned. They're just trying to go central zone off start and see how that affects their playing style, and they just had really bad luck. M249 just happens to be there, and they might just be the better hot drop team. But you know, at the end of the day, experience is the most valuable thing you can gain. So them learning, you know, the timing of drops, you know, if other teams are going to beat them, or just how to perfect their hot drops.
Yeah.
You know, I think that experience is going to be number one right now. And at this point, they have 0 points, right?
Yeah.
So they have nothing to lose going to this game number 2. If this doesn't work out, okay, just keep full sending it, keep learning from what's happening. You learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, and you also learn from fighting good teams. And there's no better team to learn to go head-to-head on a hot drop with than M249. As we can see, Pure is getting better about this. They did manage to take out a member of M249 in that push, but it doesn't look like they have any interest in leaving either. I think both these teams are trying to send a message. Kitticat goes to the scope and now has absolutely uncontested fire.
Oh, damn.
Hey. Like, I don't know if you got, Kidda pulled out the sniper rifle going, oh, I'm going to have to stop someone from peeking here. And then he just ran through the open. She's like, well, I guess M249 it is.
Yeah.
That quickscope was filthy, okay? Let me just put that out there. There's no way I'm going to be trying to do that. Something with M249, as they do win the engagement here between Pure Love, is M249 seem to be getting a little bit too cocky there. Once again, I gotten them a chance to watch them now for 3 weeks, and I feel like that's still an issue that they need to fix. For some reason, some of these players, sometimes they become very impatient, and they might feel really confident. I mean, they have won 3
We're back. 2 games left to play, and it sounds good for VBM as 17% of the damage done in the final 8 has been done by VBM. These guys came to play, and the scoreboard proves it. Let's take a look back at the last match. It's myself, it's Seven Worlds, it's Noah from Twitter, and it's the highlights.
Let's go.
No, you know what? Let's start off right off the bat, man. How are we feeling about Pure Love and M249? Do we want to continue to see the hot drops that we've been seeing out of them?
I mean, I don't mind at all. I love hot drops, so it doesn't even matter what team's going. But yeah, seeing M249 just absolutely, you know, communicate and play super well on the hot drops, I'd love to see them fight anybody. Pure Love, we'll talk about it a little bit later. They're definitely going to need to, you know, do some work. So again, same for them. I'd love to see them hot drop anybody. But, you know, just for the sake of the rivalry right now, sure, keep throwing them at each other the rest of the day.
That's what I was waiting for right there. That last part, just for the sake of the rivalry and just for some egos too. I mean, this play though, the Panthers, Cinders, for him to be able to come up, hit those shots, the Panthers didn't even know what was going on, which is crazy to me.
What angle did Cinders have right there?
That's how good of a distraction Jedi was in right here, Kitty Cat. We gotta give this player some credit.
M249 spray. Oh man.
Spray for the win. Luckily, I mean, M249 being able to collect some points there. They are currently in 3rd place, and we do have 1st place, Violent by Nature. Keep in mind, though, Toffees, they already qualified for the grand final, so we're going to be looking at 7 Nations Army and then Vengeance. And Strangers BD putting themselves within 2 points of pretty much being the top 2 in a way, because the ones with that little asterisk have already qualified to the grand finals. It's going to be interesting as we get to the final 2 games.
Well, let's put this in perspective. At the end of the last time we showed this, after game 1, Vengeance was in the top 2 positions. Now they're not even in a qualifying position. So it is anybody's game at 50%. There is some distance to go. In fact, let's take a look. I think I want to go to our new segment that's been teaching us everything we need to know. It is, you know, Noah from YouTube on Noah from Last.
Oh man, Noah from Last. Man, you guys just keep killing me with these segments. Okay, so we're going to talk about the last place team, which is unfortunately the one that I was saying let's look out for. That's going to be Pure Love. They've got 1 point right now, so how do they come out of this? And honestly, it's the same way they got into it. They're just going to need to keep hot dropping, and instead of just dying off the start or waiting 13 minutes to get 0 points, they should just try to get those kills and successfully get those kills, because right now there's no other way to climb out of this deficit, playing slow, just playing placements. They need to be getting those elim points. So off the start, I'd love to see an immediate squad wipe, take that loot, and just quickly go find another squad. And then when you're hearing gunshots, go third party. They really have nothing to lose at this point, everything to gain. So I would say just full send energy, do what you can, try to make up those points as fast as possible.
Forget about the last 2. The stress is off. Make your play. That's Noah from Last. I think it's the right call. Let's see if Pure can do it. And I want to see if you guys at home can do it. This is your last chance to sign up. The final open qualifier tomorrow, esl.gg/NSMM. Get in the game, $200,000 plus on the line. And we're giving away a bunch of spots tomorrow. So this is your chance to get there and to make it happen. So go sign up right now. You know what? The lobby's starting. It looks like we've got about a minute left until the game goes. So that's literally all the time you need to go to that website, sign up, and have stacks of cash sitting around the house like Noah. He literally just has a stack of 100. Well,
sign up.
Tell me how. Oh, sign up. I thought there was some multi-level marketing.
Do your link thing again. Say all those letters. Come on.
ESL.gg/NMMM.
There you go. Link in the description.
It's harder when I'm not reading it off the screen. Okay, so other than you selling us on some sort of like shampoo or toothpaste or maybe oil business is where I assume all your money's coming from. You're just trying to get us on board. You're tempting us with the bills. Let's get into this match. It is second to last. It is going to be another circle that is challenging, as it's going to go all the way to the west over towards Port. But Exhibit Hall, Chester, Swanton, these are popular drops, and they're all still in at 7.
They definitely are, and I'm actually enjoying that Chester is going to be on that playing path. I would love to see somebody finally go the worst, that police station, and get the crate that we've been teasing for the longest time. I'm also going to be looking at Maul. Maul is usually a place that M249 tends to land at. We saw already a hot drop earlier today between them and Pure Love. M249 got the best out of that. And you mentioned it, Noah. You want to continue seeing those hot drops for Pure Love. Hopefully this might be the time where they actually win it.
I want to see him do it right now. Like immediately, as soon as you can drop, just press that eject button. And yeah, head to Maul, fight M249, get a little bit of your ego back, get a quick elim on them, and then maybe just rotate to whatever POI is next, or if you're hearing shots, I just want to see full aggression. And right now, it doesn't look like M249 is going to be heading to Maul. I'm looking out for Pure. It looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, they're going to the
waited.
right.
They waited. Oh wait, no, they did what you said. They literally jumped out the moment.
Yeah.
Yep. So they're actually
they are
going
to be in the corner, and it does look like they might be able to get maybe a couple of people lurking from Team 5. So I mean, those points are a start, right? They just need to get a little confidence. If they can take a 4v2 off the start and just get that could, you know, boost their confidence a little bit and lead to a solid game number 3.
Absolutely. They grabbed some vehicles. It looks like Atomic.
What am I looking at?
He's just driving around. He's like, "Hey guys, I got your car.
Oh,
what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it?" Except now he got stuck. He did not. I don't think he planned to hit the wall. Like that. I was like, "Okay, I gotta go." I was taunting.
in a game right there.
Yep. That's
Testing every
exactly
single
what
wall.
I drive like.
Kill! Karma strike! Karma strike! Come on! Oh,
they didn't grab their loot fast enough.
He had to ditch the
running.
car.
They're gonna
hunt
chase
them
him,
down.
though.
Come on, Pierre, chase it.
Chase him!
Long is going for it
Look
with
at
an
Pure Long.
Uzi. Cross
Dude,
map?
No, he's got to get away. There's no way. Oh,
They're
my
still
gosh.
going.
If Atomic died of like a karma popsicle right here, that would like,
Look at this.
Well, he should
Not
never
the
have
rock.
driven in circles.
They're not
He's gonna bait
give
him
up.
though. He might bait him. He might tell his team.
yeah,
I
the
think they're
rest
gonna be
of
making a push
Team
for it.
5's
This
coming.
might backfire for Pure Love though.
No, that's
man.
an M249, bro. I don't know. They're not gonna go over the
If they're not
hilltop.
expecting a full team push, this could
That's
go
true.
south quickly.
That's true.
Look at
So,
Atomic. Oh, yeah, here comes the
wow.
help.
You know, Pure has nothing to lose. Pure qualified. They've had a rough game, but they've got an asterisk, so they can play a little cray-cray here. Whereas Team 5, the purple team, Nori, is not qualified. They need to have a good game here, and they were in not a bad spot starting this one out. They were in 7th with 8 points, so a good game could have put them in contention.
I gotta say, I love that Vortex, who wasn't getting chased but came to help, ended up getting full killed, but Atomic's still just sitting there.
Atomic's like, oh, I guess I shouldn't. Have asked for help. My bad. It's like when your buddy's like, one hit.
Yeah.
You push them and hit them 3 times and they kill you. Well, I thought he was one hit.
Must have all too much.
Must have healed, bro.
Classic.
Oh, it's like the most dangerous thing you can say in any battle royale. Like, anytime somebody says that or safe res, I'm like, no.
Gets instantly knocked. I'm safe. I'm safe. Come on.
Well, not from that angle. What?
Yeah. Classic.
Classic.
Everyone's talking
battle
from experience
royale.
right now.
It's true, right? Like,
Oh, this is sad.
well, honestly, like, that's the love I have for this. Battle Royale saved me from a love of the MOBA genre. I don't know if you guys were aware of that.
Ooh.
I was a MOBA player who apparently just loved being treated terribly all the time. And then Battle Royale came out and taught me you can have strategy and games that go quickly.
Yeah, but I don't know which one's better for your mental health there. Both of them are stressful.
Yes,
VR. VR's the way to go.
VR's the way to go.
I mean, I love VR, so I agree.
When I left MOBA, it was in a Dota meta that the games lasted an average of, 50 minutes to an hour and 20 minutes, and you were just being flamed the entire time. So always
I'd rather play
entertaining.
VR Extreme, get those 20-minute games.
Exactly.
Come on, yeah.
And you know what? The worst case scenario is you lose, and then GG go next. No biggie.
Facts.
Let's check in with 7NE, 7 Nations Army, newcomers to our final group. Currently, they are sitting in, let me double check the numbers, second place with 25 total points and no asterisk next to their name. They would very much like to maintain this position. I like where they are in the circle. It's beautiful. And Nori, he's back.
Fun start.
Pure Love finally got a win, Noah, on that hot drop. They were finally able to at least get
drop, I love it.
somewhat of a hot drop. We're gonna call it a hot drop, okay?
They listened to my segment.
We'll take it. We're gonna take it. Yes, they did. Hey, they doubled their score. Man,
Hey,
that hurts to hear.
My coaching right there, it comes in clutch. Look at that.
The
Just
first
survive.
professional coach in New State.
I'll take that title.
I'll
Twitter.
take that title. You'll take any title. You'll take any title. You like it. Pure Cross. He's like, I got nothing else to shoot at.
That's not a
May as
player.
They're
well
just shooting at anything they can, honestly.
He's got
blame
175 rounds. Why not?
Oh
Live your
my
best life.
gosh.
That slaps another dinner plate on it and says, maybe I'll try to have some more. Meanwhile, we did see a knockout there. Golden Boy, looks like he caused some trouble for Strangers BD. That was a very long knock, by the way. Actually, they're on the same team. How did you knock each other? How do you knock each other?
Just
Explain,
grenade each other.
Seven.
They were pulling. They were like, you know what? I don't like that you landed so close to me. Why are you taking my loot? You can still blow each other up. I do it every now and then.
Personal experience? Yeah.
Interesting. Well, he immediately called him back, so there you have it. He'll be returning right away, and we'll jump over to Pure as they make their rotations and they got their van, they got the hill. This is very Pure. Pure likes high ground 2-2 splits or 3-1s.
Are they going to be going for that trap that we saw earlier as well? You can see, I mean, Cross is
like
setting
that.
up for the high ground too on the other side.
Yes.
Honestly, I would have loved to just see them drive straight in to the mall. Personally.
Yeah, but that would be like pure confidence, and honestly, they
no.
Confidence.
well, I expected to see pure love today, and so far I've seen pure failure. To be honest,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to be a jerk because I know they're a good team and they're qualified, and they're consistent. But this is not the Pure that I'm used to. This isn't the Pandy. This is pure pandemonium, and none of it has been particularly excellent. So
Puns keep coming out. Pure puns.
2 more games.
Forever.
2 more pure puns. See, now there's a game I can get behind. But the reality is they've got the potential, they've got the know-how. Just something's not clicking today. And maybe that's a positive, Seven. Maybe they get it out of their system. Maybe they're trying something new. You know, it's hard to say, I guess.
Yeah, it's a lot of just trying new stuff. Thinking back of how they used to play, they never decided to take this fight early on. They would always just play super passive. So it could be them just trying something completely different, as we do have Vengeance. Vengeance does want to fight early on. They don't even care who it is, and even if it's 2 players, they want to continue that chase. I am looking at right now at M249's rotation as well. Look at this pursuit. They're like, come back, please. We really need this Ilum.
Why not? Look at them. They're hunting from 2 sides. Crowd has been like relocating around the circle to try and get the plays. Nice stop behind a wall. Smart, because they knew that there was going to be a crash. X-Spin immediately comes out, pops out the M4, wants to make a play. Crowd from the distance. X-Spin still up close. It's Revenge off to the left side. I got a little crazy, but that's okay. Revenge goes down. Bin gets the slay. Now Boyd going to try to push. Bin is low, trying to find an alternate angle. It's only at 7 HP. Ends up getting knocked down. Here comes the follow-up. Crown from the outside. Tess gonna keep moving forward as Volt does watch his teammate getting the res up on top. It looks like Vengeance could choose to back off of this one and just kind of do a 2-for-1, but they're not, Seven. They're gonna go for this.
Yeah, I don't think they won that. And the reason why is because before this match started, I mean, even right now, they're currently ahead of Strangers BD on the leaderboard, and that equals money. They're really close to that 4th place and 3rd place. They want to get that cash in their pocket, and with Strangers BD, now you're being put into more pressure because they probably weren't expecting this fight early on. Look at that angle right there from Warsaw. Which gun is it again? I can't see it.
The Vector.
The Vector. He found a really good approach Vector on that one and managed to catch him completely unprotected.
And
Headshot.
Oh,
The
gosh.
headshot, yeah, that was lined up perfect. Little over the shoulder.
Worst
Strangers
horror.
BD, it looks like you guys are trying to play TPP. You're playing FPP.
They
Why
are.
are you guys being so
They
passive?
They are.
See,
You're
they're
right.
pointing
Look
at
at
the
this.
corner.
That was a
Oh,
3
the
PP
zone,
hold that
though.
he was forced to peek on because he couldn't. You're at
Gosh.
you nailed that, Seven. They are living a 3rd-person perspective right now. That is tough.
Time to adapt with the changes, and this is what I love here. Even though he does get knocked, there you go. Now go in the aggressive. Now put yourself in a better situation. Oh, the Vector's just too OP.
They all got vectors. They've all got
those
vectors.
kills, huh?
That's wild. Yeah, well, with 2 different people, right? Or no, that was worse. That was all horror all the time. That guy is obscene.
One man warrior right there.
1-man warrior.
I give credit to the weapon, okay?
He said, "No, it doesn't matter. It's all the weapon." Imagine with the custom kit on that bad boy. Ooh.
Does he have it
he
already?
decided to pick up the M. Nah, he didn't. Not at that point.
He went
Oh, did we just see
M249.
him drop it?
Big fan club. Big fan club. Right, the Vector did its job. He's like, it's time for you to rest.
All right, Cross, what's happening here?
Cross is doing a little bit of a 3P peek, but he's doing the lean, obviously. Let's move around, and we see Nori. Nori has had a tough go of things since they mixed it up with Pure Love earlier, and you can see that that hasn't changed. Pure Love is not only stopping them from coming in, but they are like spread out in a way that is Nori only has one option, is to drive significantly north and do it in the blue.
Toughest. This is something they never done before. I'm telling you, they're just trying out different stuff. They don't even care first place. They don't care about the $2,000. Right now, they're kind of trying to set themselves up for what's going to be happening into the grand finals, and they're trying to play that new style, which is a little bit more aggressive, holding off different angles, holding off teams, and oh yes,
2 shields.
Finally.
Has that drone been drinking?
Finally.
This drone's been drinking.
Right, shields.
Seven's been waiting for this for days.
Well,
Yes.
well. There it is.
There it is.
Please,
There
please
it
don't die.
is.
Okay.
It's on the
I
roof.
want to
It's
see a
dropped
drone
off.
kill.
Right? Listen, that moment was what a moment that was. What a moment. We actually, there was one where there was a final circle the other day where like a team didn't have cover, and I think it was Seven was suggesting, man, I wish they would just call drones in on the other team's position and tried to blow them out of the sky.
Airstrikes.
Yeah, like airstrikes from above kind of vibe. I was like, actually, that's not a bad idea.
New state strategies.
Yep.
The thing is that you can. I'm at, like,
You can.
I think give it a little bit more time, and people will start calling on even drones just to mess around. You don't have to end up going after it. And the good thing about New State is that it does give you a little bit of extra space. You don't have to call the drone right on you. You can call it about, I think it's somewhere 50 meters away from you.
Well, we even
could
saw
distract some people.
last week a team used a green smoke, and their player that they called in, they dropped them behind encased enemy, and basically knew they were going to lose that player. But on the way down, he was able to call out their positions. They turned around and looked at that player. It opened up a push. You know, so there is, I think, teams starting to explore what do drone credits offer us outside of the obvious strategic advantages. And I think, again, this alludes to what we're seeing with Pure right now, Noah, is if you've qualified, if you've got the chance, maybe try something different to see what your vibe is or what's going to work for your team.
Yeah, they're just being funny at this point. Now they're outside the zone fighting. Like they just want to grief. What team is that? Nori, right? Yeah, they're just going crazy on them, and this has just been kind of comedic to watch. But I definitely agree with the whole drones coming into play, especially as more players learn how they can be used in a competitive situation. For me personally, just playing in the public matches, I've personally used a drone in endgame for one of many different ways. One being like a distraction. Two, I've called in a care package at a spot that I wanted to rotate to and then use that drop as cover.
Smart.
So that's kind of handy too. If you can't afford a shield, maybe just buy something cheaper and then use the drop as,
or use
cover.
a bunch of shields inside of a drone drop to make even more cover.
That is true. If you have as much money as Seven does in that gun, just stack out.
As much as Seven does, says the man with stacks sitting next to his desk for no apparent reason.
They're all on the floor now.
Well, that's, you know, as it should be with the bourgeoisie. Bourgeoisie. Bourgeoisie.
As I look down to my feet, not wearing New State shoes. Surf is still in my head rent free.
No. Surf is still
It's your fault.
free. I tried to convince him to sell me the shoes because then I could say maybe I was the first pro. It's tough talk. Tough talk. Technically, you can't be a pro unless you get paid. So if you sold them to me, that would make him the first pro, I guess. Technically. So give me your shoes, Surf. They were cool shoes. Those New State kicks were pretty amazing. All right, Cinders, amazing. Sprays, that's the coverage. Seven?
Yeah, I'm still surprised that Pure's decided to hold that angle.
just
What are
having
they
fun.
doing?
Yeah.
Are they wanting to do the same thing that happened last time where they were in the blue zone for like 13 minutes, came out in that right away? And Nori, I'm actually genuinely surprised Nori's not trying to do something different. They're just deciding to stay there. They have all that backside of the mall. Try to rotate. Try to do a wide rotation. You can't just keep on staying there. Luckily for them now, Pure, you can see them kind of moving away. And just the action that we're going to be getting, and as I'm looking at this, Vengeance is making a late rotation into that circle.
Also, I don't understand. Nori's finally decides to move, and they go straight towards where Pure is. I mean, if you're hoping they're going to ignore you, I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe it does. Atomic, I take it back.
I think it's just Atomic messing around with them in a solo vehicle while the rest of the team's rotating safely.
He was trying to be
but he just drove right by.
Well, they might have thought they were still camping because Pierre's on foot, worth noting. And I wonder if he was doing a drive-by to scout, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, well, guys, they didn't shoot at me. I'm so confused. I'm hitting rocks. Like, we're safe, boys. We're safe."
It's an expensive car crash right there.
Jeez, right? The cars in this game. It's like it's honestly like being at a new state influencer event.
Oh,
P90.
Oh man.
Oh, P90.
And a custom kit.
Which
and
is
a
the team that's
level 3
closest to that, actually?
Yeah. What's
Violent
that?
by Nature? Oh, wait, Violent by Nature can get this. That's going to be... Oh, look at them. Cinders is going for it.
They just want to keep stacking points.
Yep.
As you should.
Get stronger.
Also, fine-tune. Like, you know, if you need to test new things, cool. But if you can fine-tune what's been working for you, cool. Also, why keep your car? Just send it away. Later. Oops. When Cinders noticed.
He forgot to turn
You saw
it
the moment.
off.
You see the moment he was like, "Oh, man.
Oh,
I made a mistake."
Production, if you're listening, we need to start some blooper reels, okay? There's just too much funny stuff that happens in these games. He's like,
Oh my
man,
gosh.
that P90 wasn't worth it.
The
I
way
think it's
that he
even
just-
funnier that Nori and Pierre are both still alive, full stack now, and on opposite ends of the map.
That is true.
It's been a goofy game.
Maybe it's a weird deep strategy jive by Nori here, but I can't get over that little left step he did when he realized his car was gone.
Like, oh. It's too relatable.
It is. That's the problem. Much of this game has been us reminiscing on relatable moments of failure in our Battle Royale histories. Yep, been there. Oh, yeah.
It just shows this is all so new still. Everyone's still making the basic mistakes.
Exactly.
But you're not going to see these much longer.
No, that's why it's fun to play. Go sign up right now. ESL.gg/NSMM. It's free. But you could have lots of stacks. All right. TP, Panthers, let's call it. Comes up on the top of the hill. These guys have been absolute bruisers so far in this event. Khaled continues to push forward. We see another down player over there. Looks like Peter Boy. They may try to go for the res. Vengeance is not pushing them as aggressively as I expect Vengeance to normally.
Yeah, I think Vengeance is being a little bit passive here. They're just going to try to find different angles. Ben is able to get some shots. They're just trying to gather some information here as Crown is going to try to work that angle. Now he knows where that player from the Panthers is. Look at Ben, though. Ben's being super patient right now. And there's no way they can get their party from here because they do have cover by that rock.
This has to be destroying their soul. Vengeance is an aggressive team. They're currently in 5th place and need to qualify this week. So I can see that's why they're playing a little more passive. But you can like almost feel it in their movement. So they want to be rushing forward. You know what I mean? They're a W team.
They
really
have
do.
6 elims.
Yeah, I was gonna say I appreciate what Legal
7.
and Khaled have been able to do. They noticed that they weren't gonna win that fight and they were just outmanned, so they backed off towards the buildings and try to set themselves up. And you can kind of see them currently looking towards the area where Vengeance is gonna be, waiting for them to show their face and maybe get some shots into them.
What you think, Noah?
I think, despite them holding back, they're still slaying out the lobby right now. 7 elims, and they're not very far behind as far as like the total point goes. 23. With first being just a 6-point difference. So, I mean, it's anyone's game, and it's been that way for a while now.
True. And remember,
except for maybe Pure.
2 teams will advance to the grand final off of this lobby. Currently at 7 and 8 and Venge are the top 2, so we'll keep an eye on them. Sheep, Kitty Cat, am I going to play here? Peel tries to survive. Violent by Nature has been getting absolutely dusted. Cinders is going to go ahead and get the flush there with the pistol. That tells you someone's low on primary ammo. Peel is going to be moving up the stairs. Keep in mind that they'll now know he was low on the ammo because of the pistol kill. With No Honor, continues to push around the left side, switches it over to the submachine gun as he ducks into the house. Up on top, we got Peel trying to clear Sleep out, but Sleep is a solo expert as he locks up that corner, waiting for the push to come up. Jedi and Peel trying to make a play. They're shooting outside the window. They're making sure nobody peeks, and that's bought him some time for the reload. Sleep comes down, gets 1. The M249 is still getting loaded up, though, and that is going to mean Kitty Cat wasn't in a position to help support that hold on the stairwell.
They weren't, but guess what? Now they are in that position, and they do have the M249, and I think they might be able to recover from this. Oh, never mind the grenade!
Lots of ammo is no match for lots of shrapnel. Cinders decides to push forwards, got the Thompson with the extended barrel, pushes in. There comes the counter.
With the
Drops
drop shot.
low, drop shot. What? Cinders with a sick play. Let's jump up now to Vengeance. Still 4 strong. Coming in to basically, this is the problem with fights, is they go from 2 to 3 teams to 4 teams and on very, very rapidly.
This zone's crazy.
They're
The
doing exactly what you were
buildings.
talking about earlier, Toffees. There's a very low chance that that player is going to be able to make it down to the ground, but they might be using him as a UAV. They might be using him just to figure out where the other teams are currently at.
Well, also, if I have to move building to building, I'd rather do it when everyone's looking at the sky trying to kill a partner. And if they don't and they shoot at me, maybe my partner gets to land. So there is that option. Look at Pandy! Look at Pandy!
I was about to say,
Yes.
no HP.
They have
just
no
laying
idea.
There. On that
He's like,
zero.
I'm going to go for a ride.
Oh my gosh.
This is, but now it's almost out. You gotta get out soon,
Yeah,
Pandy.
that
Go get,
ride's not
actually, the
gonna
back of that
last.
building. He might be
They
able
don't
to pull this
expect
off.
it, though.
Just
Look
run
at
it
that.
outside
They
the
have
zone.
no
I know you
idea.
love it out
Nobody,
there.
look at them. They never even looked. Oh, you broke the window, you fool. But Pandy is gonna get through. I think Aggressor might have heard that glass break. Wow. Who, like,
The DPs are everywhere right
Who
now.
are you, Horror? Yeah, DP has been a popular gun today. It's got that range spray with the 6X, which is still shockingly accurate. Uncomfortably so. Feels like Nerf, maybe. So, oh, that was a dead drone. Worst Horror up on top of this roof, making a nice little play up on the hill. He sees Nori in the distance. Now he's got a vision on Violent by Nature as they try to get themselves another spot. Takes a little bit of return fire, but this is such a good roof. He can lay right back down. No one's behind them, or are they? As Pandy's made the sneaky deke, but Cinders is going to push up. Thompson going up
Cinder's
against
gonna
2.
push up to death.
Is Nori waiting? Yep, he sure did. You were not wrong. He had with no honor on his 6, and he thought that was enough to guarantee victory, but all it is not going to work out, as he does try to have a friend crawl back. Some good smokes to buy a little bit of space, but with no honor, it's just taking damage from all sides.
The nade got a knock.
Nades for days. It did. They were pushing, so they. No, that was that old. He's gonna try to res in the smoke bait, and the nade worked. With no water now, trying to still make play. He's solo after the flush comes out. Not a chance of resummoning very much at the moment. And look at that. That circle is brutal.
The amount of buildings, this entire play is gonna come down to equipment and people listening for footsteps.
Yep. Urban combat in this game is fun, but not where you want to be. Because especially with the circles usually avoid
Pure
city.
is still alive over there too.
Nori was able to reset, though.
And yeah,
Yeah.
Nori has refused to lose members permanently.
Yep.
They're down to just 3 now, but I think in total they've probably been knocked like 8 or 9 times.
Yeah. Yep. Doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down as long
Yeah,
as
they're
you
just
get back
staying
up.
in it.
Here comes Vino. He's not going to whine. He's going to push as he goes around the right side, locks up the side of this little caravan, hopes to see somebody coming up over. C is going to get a nice little play on the left side as they try to push back Vengeance. Oh, no, that's the end of him. Nori does get hit by a nade. They heard him run up, but he was not undercover. Aggressor looks like he wants to go around, gets himself a nice little flush there. A lot of wild
There.
style spray up on the high ground.
Oh, my
Nori
gosh.
gets it by zone as he makes the play up on the high ground. That'll be the end of Nori, but they went deeper than they ever hoped to. Vengeance up on the high. They've got
Chaos.
3 players up. 7 Nation down to 1. BBN down to 1.
Whoa.
And just like that is done. Vengeance was able
Look
to
at the
clear
map.
and then eradicate everyone
With
else.
3 up and the 4th being knocked. That is insane. 17 elims. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, the chaos there at the end, it just all happened so fast. Like, if you take a look at the map, it's just all skulls because players were, like, so recently eliminated. That is insane.
It absolutely is. Vengeance played that very, very well. I will say this, Nori, despite whatever the heck that thing with Pure was that locked them up for like 80% of the game, they were stuck in the blue. They were pinned down by trolls. But the Billy Goat Gruff still somehow made it in and got the 4th place. So big shout out to them. And I do think that this is our biggest takeaway so far, Seven, is that maybe I have been too hard on Pure. Pure seems, though they aren't winning, to be doing something aimed at being better when it comes to the grand final.
Yeah, because that's that team that's just not their style. Them being aggressive so early on, it's something that we've never seen before. I'm more used to seeing them being able to hold a compound, waiting for that circle to actually start, pushing them into and making them rotate. But for them to be so aggressive, keep doing it. I mean, at this point, you got nothing to lose. Well, I want to see what you guys are going to come up with in that last circle. I hope you don't all of a sudden decide to switch it up and go back to what you guys are used to. Keep on trying to be aggressive. Collect that data. That's what I'm talking about. Give your coach something to tell you on what to improve.
Well, while the players take a break to talk to their coaches, me, Noah, and Seven are going to rally up and talk to Noah about how to cast the next one. So don't go anywhere. It's time for the final match after these messages.
Nope.
penultimate game is done, and with one more match to play, the chips begin to fall where they will end, as we see some of our asterisk qualified teams dominating, and we see teams like Vengeance continuing to rise to the top. My name's Toffees. I'm joined by Seven Worlds Gaming and our special guest for the day, Noah from YouTube or Noah from Twitter, whichever you happen to read first. Either way, he's Noah, who's here right now, and is going to help us as we break down the, you want to call it, Noah?
Noah from Replay. Let's get it.
I like Noah.
And it's the
Right
vector
here.
everywhere.
Yes, yes. I was gonna be like, hold up, I don't even want to say anything. I just want to see how this.
You were
wanted
just
to look at
waiting
that
for me to
wonderful
talk about
play.
it. I have to. I have nothing against the vector. It's just you were hyping it up a lot. I was waiting to see it is all. And as you had mentioned, with it being customized, it gets crazy because of that drum magazine attachment that you do earn.
Well, the crazy part is, okay, you know what? We're just gonna let the highlights play in the back. Oh, okay.
In the DP, that's another one of my
I-
personal favorites.
I was gonna
actually.
say there is two after the update. There is two ways that you can actually customize the vector. You can either do that drum magazine, which gives you 45 bullets, or you can actually increase the damage of it, which I stick to the increased damage. It's just ridiculous. But hey, Vengeance, 42 points. If you would have told me we would have had two teams actually at 40 points, I would have told you that you're crazy. And then Seven Nations Army currently with 30 points, Toffees. I feel like it's going to be up to them unless Strangers BD has the game of their life.
I mean, and that's what it comes down to, right? At the end of the day, Noah, two teams advance at the end of today who don't have asterisks. Strangers BD is the closest, 15 points. Doable?
Anything can happen. I don't want to, put anything in stone.
Nori as well, and I will say this, Vengeance was on the right side of the board going into that game. They were sitting at about 17, and now they're sitting in the 40s. So one good
That's
game is all it takes. Now, we all know about one good game being a big deal, and that's why we have started the Beat My Best giveaway. It's a chance for you to show off, to see who's better, and the idea is simple. Post your best game. Go out there, play it, post it, and get involved. Compare it to your friends, tag them, and tag us for your chance to win. Mustache Dave is already in on the action with a whopping 13 kills to replace Win Sanity as our top player. He just wanted to flex that triple S rating and that sweet drip.
I think you want to flex the skins, yeah.
He
look
really
at
did.
that.
But if you guys register, follow the link there on the screen, and you have a chance to win a $1,000 Amazon gift card and your choice of the latest iPhone or Android device. Post your stat line and see if you can beat my best, Dave's best, Seven's best. I'm sure you've already beaten Godspeed's best, so we won't even bother putting that up there.
He's just always in the crossfire. Poor
right?
Godspeed.
And it's because he's going to be here tomorrow. He's going to be all like, gosh, you guys are so mean to me when I'm gone, which is true. Why?
21,
I
by the
don't
way,
know.
Toffees. 21 elims. That's my best. That's what I have it at so far.
Have I seen it online?
There's
He said,
proof.
"Show
There's
me the
proof.
Show
I'm
me
just
the
saying,
proof."
screenshot or it didn't happen. I once had a
Submit it.
57
Submit
kill
it.
game on extreme mode.
I seen
57.
it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Honestly, I think it's time for us to get ready for the action, to get into this thing. It is the last match of the day, the last chance to dance for the teams that want to go to the big show. And the story besides who wins and who takes home the cash is Strangers BD and Nori, 15 and 13 points respectively. The team in front of them, who looks like they'll advance, the Seven Nation Army with 30 freaking points. So these teams not only have to stop Seven, they have to also put up perhaps the game of their life. And Seven, I'm hoping it happens because, baby, I love watching comebacks.
I definitely do too, and I think Strangers BD, they've been the bridesmaid for so long. Today might be the day, but as we mentioned, it's gonna have to be an amazing game. And something that Vengeance needs to worry about is Violent by Nature. They're only 2 points behind, and if I'm Violent by Nature, I want that $2,000 prize pool for first place. I don't care that I'm already qualified. 2 points behind, you best believe I'm gonna want those $2,000.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing to remember is the teams that aren't qualified care about one thing, and that is getting through to play for 200K. The teams that have qualified care about a whole lot of stuff. Everything from bragging rights to cash to hubris to drop spots. You just don't know what they're going to do, and that's the scariest part, Noah. The Master Swordsman doesn't fear the Master Swordsman. He knows what they're going to do. It's the person who has nothing to lose that is scary, right?
Oh man, they're just gonna be driving circles and vehicles around other teams, just trolling. And yeah, that like randomness, you can't predict what someone's gonna do if they don't even know what they're gonna do. That is what just kills you. I do want to just quickly mention that I love that Seven Nation went to Graveyard. They have the central location. They have the crows around them to let them know if anyone is going to be like pushing them. And then on top of that, they just have the entire POI to themselves. So they're going to be set up in a good position, and I'm curious to see where they go this game.
Watching Poro learn about the crows was probably one of my favorite things I've ever seen.
So loud.
It was so loud, and it was like every game we were going to Graveyard, and the crows were like ambushing him. We'd be in the cast, and you just hear it scream. And you'd hear his voice be like, "What? Oh yeah, the stupid crows." It was awesome, but that's a fun part. Things that this game have added that we haven't really seen before is a lot of these sort of environmental things that aren't super impactful, but they can, right? And that's what makes the best stories for me, Seven, is those random games where the crows do tell me someone's pushing, right? Maybe 1 out of 70 games I get to experience that, but that's going to be an awesome match.
Yeah, when we talk about new stuff too, I mean, we're looking at Vengeance. 23% of the damage of the lobby? It did. Weren't they like 17% before this? That's
Man, you
ridiculous.
said they've been holding back too. I don't want to see them full throttle.
Well, Vengeance,
they want to qualify and those 2,000.
They're also they're an interesting team for me because they're very hot cold at the start. Like they are willing to risk it all right out of the gate. So sometimes their numbers will be deceiving because you'll get a game or two where Vengeance isn't really relevant, and then all of a sudden they'll just go bananas off of 1 or 2 games because they get their roll going. And so I'm curious to see exactly. Because remember, they, like I said, right side of the leaderboard before the last game, and now they're up to more than 20% of the damage in the lobby. That's pretty gosh darn massive. Worth noting, not a lot of early fights here, Noah. Is that a symptom of the last game? I'm usually used to seeing more action than this.
I'm honestly shocked. I don't know what's going on over there with M249 and Pier. They seem kind of close, but there's no shots being traded around. But yeah, I'm surprised. Usually these last games, like you said, those wild cards, just the people who they know they have nothing to lose. Let me go just grief another team because I want to do that. Especially you would think that Pure, I mean, maybe they're setting it up now, want to go take out M249 because they were eliminated by that team twice early on. I'd love to see some crazy action, but yeah, 32 players, everyone standing, probably not a bullet shot unless it was at a window, and we're almost 5 minutes deep.
Let's take a quick look. That board's up on the right side for those of you watching at home. Keeping in mind, first place is Venge at 42, all the way down from there. It will live update with placement and kills. And yeah, it's a rivalry, but it's a bit of a sleepy rivalry as they've both been pretty passive here going into the end game. Not really sure why. I guess maybe they just didn't want to have to fight with pistols, but why not? M249 has the circle and lots of time, so do what you want to do. Everyone else on the map, very spread out, mostly passive.
I'm intrigued to see what Pure Love's going to do on this rotation. Are they going to just go back and set themselves up to gatekeep them in some kind of way? Because we have seen them do that over and over again. I want to see if they continue on that trend, on just trying out something new that we're not kind of used to. And talking about teams like Vengeance, talking about teams like Violent by Nature today that have performed so well, as that's actually got me intrigued, Toppies and Noah, because we usually see M249 when we talk about how aggressive they can be, as they do get a knock right there. But so far, M249, we haven't seen the likes of M249 that we're used to seeing. And I wonder if it's because of all the hot drops from Pure Love.
Maybe. I also want to point out M249 took a...
the rivalry.
Well, but you got to remember, M249 just did... they're coming back. We'll talk about that in a second. Pure comes in hot and heavy to throw the ball.
This is what I wanted to see.
Jason and Kitticat are like, what? They're back?
Please.
Pure they bounce off it.
They have nothing to lose. Oh my gosh.
Down. Kitticat, Jason, closing down to 1. Pure lost 1, and then it was Pure commitment as they end up pushing deep into this fight. And why not at this point? Let's get a little bit crazy. And we're going to see King up on the high ground. Everybody else from M249 now pushing in. They're grumpy. They want to get points back. Kitticat downstairs window. King's going to go ahead and just stare at this wall with an Uzi. But if they come around, and it's going to be a tough push for them. King does fall back into the safe room. He's got to be careful from the grenades. Back under assault. Comes out, punches the window to fake a jump. That was a nice play. He stopped. He did it. About a face.
M249 is going to go for the res. So they can use the green for their last player instead. Aware of that, he's going to wait this one out. Jason's firing. He's sort of like pre-firing downstairs, if only to keep King locked up.
Oof, this is the push.
Sit. Jason wants to come in. King's inside. What's up? Uzi versus Uzi, and M249 gets the win. All right, so just that fight. What I wanted to say is Pure has been cheeky all day with those little split traps they've been doing. You know what I'm talking about? The 1-3 kind of stuff. M249 literally turned around and drove back to the fight. That's pretty epic, if you ask me.
And they had nothing to lose, so why not? I mean, if anything, they just gave us a little stream content, so I'm perfectly okay with it. And that's something I've been wanting to see for a while now, is someone get a vehicle knock, and we finally saw here in the final game of the day. And as far as M249 goes, I'm sure they're loving it that they just fought Pure again, because not only do they just keep adding on to the, you know, embarrassment they've been put into that team, they also get kind of free points, because I don't think Pure, you know, played that as smart as they would have if they weren't in last place by like 40 point differential there. So I think M249 smile and laugh, and they just got a like free 4 points to their name.
There was like zero thoughtful into that push.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, you gotta punch out our teammate. Is that what we're doing now? And
Right.
then they just full sended it. I think honestly, that might have been the last straw for Pure Love. Seeing their teammate just get punched out, they're like, okay, we can allow that to happen. We've been fighting them the whole day. Might as well just full send it. It didn't work out for them. Pure Love, I'm pretty sure you're gonna be able to learn a lot from today.
But you know, how depressing though, right? Like they said, that's the last straw, let's fight back. I remember doing that. I was in 7th grade. Me, Josh, and John, we were like, you know what? We've had enough. And then all 3 of us got our butts kicked. So at the end of the day, did we really get a lot out of it? Maybe some respect, but ultimately M249 gets the win. Let's jump over to Violent by Nature as they try to get a good angle here on Nori. Nori needs these points. Remember, Nori is on the hunt. They need to be up there in the top 4, or at least past 7NA if they're going to advance to the grand finals.
Yeah, I just have no trust in Nori. I'm just going to put that out there. With the team that has only gotten, I think, is just 1 elim per match today, if there's going to be a team that's going to make it, I'm going to put my money on Strangers BD if we're talking about teams from all the way down there. And look at them right now. They're trying to use that green flare, and now would be the time to use that green flare. You don't want to wait until later on, because we have seen over and over again what happens when you do that. M249 recovering themselves from that madness that happened earlier. I think they were able to pick up their, they were able to revive their teammate that ended up dying. So M249, I wonder if they're going to be pushing to get that win on the final match.
Yeah, I mean, they have, that is something that M249 needs to keep in mind, or we should keep in mind here, is they don't like not winning. They've won 3 of our 4 events, and the one that they lost irked them. They have to make a big game to catch back up and pass Vengeance, but if any team can do a 20-point runner, it's going to be them, Noah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think, you know, right now they're pretty set up to do so. Not only did they get their last player up again, they have all those extra credits that they probably just received. So they're going to be stacking up on the drone credits and getting whatever loot that they need to just carry on this aggression mid-game and just stack up those points and kills.
Nori, we watched Nori die earlier to a grenade inside of a caravan.
Oh,
Let's
no.
see if we can fight back. Let's see, here is
The
SG.
sniper.
Oh
Please.
no. Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah, missed it.
Norris needs to kill.
I mean,
Come
you
on.
have plenty of time for this.
I mean,
Oh,
really,
gosh.
come on, auto fire. You
Oh,
gotta. I know
oh,
Nori
oh,
has Nori had an M4 with a 3X on his back. I'm a little bit confused about the M24. Never mind. I take it
no,
back.
I thought that one hit. Yeah.
right.
Wait, did it? Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
It
that's the
did.
one. That's the one. All right, I take it back. So, who needs a 3X when
They
you've
need the
got
watch,
a
though.
multi? He landed, but maybe the maybe
They
aim
wanted to
assist
wait
works
until he
better.
landed.
Yeah. Let him touch
Atomic
down.
really is just the comedic driver of the stream here. He's constantly doing goofy things, getting stuck there on the stairs, driving in circles, honking
Well,
at
this
people.
is
This
not
is
as
actually a
free as
great
they
fight.
thought it was. Big play. Golden Boy's already waiting. They didn't think he was there. That's going to be 1. Golden Boy goes to the left side, but they're just too much Nori as they're going to get sliced up. Revenge, though, from the distance, gets out that 3X, tries to spray it down, but ultimately cannot go in. We're going to see Nori go ahead and tuck back into Grandma's house. Just wait this one out.
And this is between 2 teams that are actually fighting to make it to those ground
Yep.
finals. This is the most aggressive I think we have seen Nori ever been, to the point that they actually want to pursue that fight. And I wonder if they're going to try to pursue that last player from Strangers BD that's currently on the off angle. Yeah, that's the thing, right, Topies? We say they have to, but they're like, they haven't really proven us to do the usual logical thing.
No.
So it's a bit of a question mark for me.
No, yeah, Nori's
You
been
know,
a passive
honestly,
team.
It
Go ahead.
might not be a bad idea to just let Revenge run away and potentially revive a teammate or two so they can just get another free point or two off of those respawns. So that's been a strategy for, like, you know, creators to do in public matches, is just leave the last player alive and then farm the free kills when they get the revives. It's obviously risky, but, you know, it could work out. They need to get a lot of points, so why not be risky?
Why not? You know, they're coming back ungeared. They're coming back sitting ducks, and apparently a bolt action on Nori is unstoppable. So let's just farm the best you can. Now, Nori is up to 4. They've only got 16 points in the hopper. 7NA, the team that they have to keep sights on, is at 32, but only at 2 strength, though mostly uncontested, I think, into their position right now. So that's a tough one, because I just don't know, man. 18, 17... Ooh. That's like 20 points this late in the game. That's going to be rough. Almost impossible.
It is. I mean, with the way Strangers BD is right now, oh, here we go. Here comes the green flares. But with 7NA, that first game, I think, worked out wonders for them. Because if we go back and actually look at the stats on those past 2 games, after that, they really haven't gotten that many points. I think.
Oh no! Did it work? Did it work? No.
Oh, I think they tried to. So close yet so far away.
Right? This is like a new favorite meta. Look how! Oh my gosh!
I love that so much.
He tumbled out of there too. He heard the explosion, and now everybody's aware that this is the thing we're doing. So I love it. I love it. Green flare goes off immediately, and I'll tell you what: if your drone couldn't survive the drop off, I have skeptical feelings about your teammate.
Let's see.
I'm hoping 7NA has at least a great performance here in this last match, because if not, there's going to be a lot of question marks of saying, okay, was it that you guys just got really super lucky on that first game and were able to take full advantage of it?
True.
Or are you guys actually here to play? Are you guys going to be able to do this in the grand finals?
That's true. That's true, because they had a really massive match, but then since then it's been kind of an average of 5 points per game, which, I mean, if you win by averages, it is what it is. Here comes that drop we were waiting for, Noah. Will it work? Will it work?
Yeah. I think this is the only player spraying him, so
yeah,
there's enough distance. There we go. Your drone didn't survive, but your teammate did.
I made it. I've got a pistol. I'm here to help.
Nice.
Kairaz was looking to get another bolty or another shot there to knock someone out. Sees another drone coming in. It is Dronapalooza. Phase 4 is when everyone seems to spend the credits, and now the rotations will begin. Nori is going to move around to the west side and get themselves into a pretty good spot there. We're going to see other teams building up. Vengeance likes to build those car forts. They check the rocks, lock it down. M249 on the north side may butt up against 7 Nations Army. We'll see if that turns into a fight. Meanwhile, Vengeance, though, already taking shots at the Panthers.
And right now, I'm looking at Strangers BD as this fight ensues, as Strangers BD is now bringing back some of their players. Legal, though, being able to get that knock. The Panthers, I expect to see a lot more out of them. Hopefully this round, the last round of the day, is going to be the one that they show us a little bit more action.
They've been quiet today. It's almost like they came because they were supposed to a little bit, Noah, but have been kind of like, I'm kind of tired, you know, but it's all right.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yes.
This point breakdown of those last couple of teams alive, by the way, 16, 17, 18. Like, the last 3 teams are pretty close, and then you have the top 4. Yeah. So I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen. Panthers, that'd be cool if they got a lot of kills, but this late in the game, I don't know if even those kills are going to matter. So like you guys said, I think they might just be here to be here at the moment.
Oh, it does
They're
feel...
getting knocks, though.
Yeah, I mean, time in game is time in game. Reps are reps, sort of. So get those reps in, try some stuff out, is what it is. We know that they have their moments. We'll see as it goes into the finals or maybe opens tomorrow, which was a little more. There's a few more games per round in open, so we'll see if maybe that makes a difference here. Yep. 22 players left alive. Vengeance is out, as is Pure Love.
That might just secure the win for VBN, yeah.
Yeah.
And they have 5 elims already as well, so they're just steamrolling.
M249, though. M249 wins this. That's 10 points, right?
That is.
And then on top of that, you lock up
the keyword was might. It might.
It might. Well, what comes first, might or right? That's fast.
We'll just say, I don't know. The chicken or the egg.
The chicken or the
I
egg.
don't know.
Look at us. This is that moment where nobody wants to fight. We don't have a lot to say, so we talk about old adages. Bear with me. Okay, Escalona outside trying to make a fight here. M249 did manage to get themselves back up to 4 strong. They want to get these kills. They want to get first place. They have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And this is Seven Nations Army, a team that has to continue to maintain their position. They don't want to die. They don't want to open the door for Strangers BD to get back into this thing because they're back up at 3 players already. So Seven Nations Army needs to fight back. They do have that opening knock against Kairos, who should be pick-upable, I believe. But wait, I think it's another team showing up here. I think Strangers is coming.
Strangers is coming in. And stopped.
Wow. Sleep heard it. Sleep was like, I have no interest in your third party.
Yeah.
Be gone.
Jeez. It was
But
immediate.
at least now Strangers BD has 3 players up, and with M249, they're kind of now after I smacked talking for a little bit, saying that this team wasn't showing me what I'm used to seeing from M249. They were getting those angles, they were trying to get into that fight, and they're now making Seven Nations Army push back.
They literally punched Seven Nations Army so hard that they ran away and then turned around and showed the Strangers a lead stop sign. Like, these guys are brutal.
And what I'm going to be seeing now from the Seven Nations Army, I mean from M249 fan club, I expect it to just go straight down the middle. If they're going to be playing with the confidence that we're used to seeing, they're going to have to do that rotation, because Strangers BD right now, they really can't do much. They're in a shack. Strangers BD is like, yeah, we don't want this fight. We're out of here.
I like that Sleep was like, I know we could rotate, but instead I'd like to watch these guys first and see if we can pick up another one. Like, M249 wants the braggadocio of going into the grand finals saying that they won almost every single event. I mean, they've got over $8,000 earned so far in the last 2 weeks, Noah.
Wow. That's more than I have on my floor right now.
Oh my god, I hate you so much.
I would love to see M249 just slay out pretty much any team in their path right now except for VBN, and then it come down to whichever team wins the game wins this. That would be awesome, and I'm really hoping they're setting themselves up for it, because they're well, both teams are slaying out. VBN is like, nah, we don't want that stress. We're not going to let them anywhere near us on the point count, because both of the teams, they're combining for 11 of the kills that have happened already. 11 of the 12 players that have been eliminated.
Oh, I was going to say, I think you might get your wish. It seemed there for a second that M249 was going to go straight for them. Nori, though, Nori's still one of those teams that it's in the fight. They do have 4 other players up. They're trying to figure out the angles. They're trying to figure out what the rotation is going to be after this if they don't get the zone. And I love the split that I'm seeing.
They don't, I mean, that okay, they did. They finally pulled them back. Like, that knock happened a while ago, and it was only after about a minute and a quarter that Sea Mariner got in his car and went out to try to finish the kill. Jedi's gonna go through, though. This is M249. They come with force. That's what they do. Jedi goes down, but that's not the last one. Citrus drops as well. Kairos copyrighted, pushes with it. Peel tries to hold. Peel goes down, and it is unreal. When M249 decides to push, they will give everything to wipe you out with no honor. The last player coming in. It's a 1v1. If he can try to make something happen here, he slides around to the left side, wants to cost them big time as they go for the reses. M249 has to eliminate him right now. Vector coming through up against the Barrel. Barrel goes around the left side, reloads, tries to make a play through the window, looking to get some flushes. Saw they went up to the high ground. Kairos up above on the 2nd floor. Sound cues giving away some information with no honor. Has more sound cues because his opponent is on top. Kairos gets the Vector. Now Honor's going to go around and just flush out the players, get the kills.
Oh my gosh. Here it is.
Sky kill. Goes ahead and does it.
The Vector. I love that. That was the play I wanted to see. Jump out of the high ground when you have the player just running around circles. No health. That was a great approach. Let's just see if M249 can recover. Yeah, and no ammo. Just got the... Yep, exactly.
That was
a huge fight.
That was a big one.
But they need to clutch up the win now. That's going to be the difficult part, especially this late, trying to get your teammates
with only one player.
Otherwise, you're going to have to, 1v3, 1v2, whatever. It's going to be tough.
Now, they're outside the circle. If he does have greens, he's got to shoot them in the direction of the circle, then try to push in. Meanwhile, we're with Nori. We said they had to have a good game, and they are, but it's a little slow with only 22 kills. There's not enough points left on the map, I think, for them to catch Seven Nation Army unless they wipe out everyone left, and the last member of SS7NA doesn't get any kills. So this is a sort of a big, what the jump?
Wow.
What? What? I didn't know there was a
leg
turbo
workouts
button
are
on
you
the
doing?
D-pad. That was wild. Well,
Okay, we learned something new today.
Yeah, I'm loving to see these.
wow. T-pad tips his hat as he just sky bombs Nori. Atomic
It's the
runs
new
away.
state action.
He's weaving because he's not sure if they've got the moon boots to get over to him there.
Ooh,
Atomic
Seven
does
Nations
manage to
Army.
kill the last member of Seven Nations Army. Good pickup. But I don't know. Is that too far gone at this point, Seven?
Oh.
I'm not sure if Atomic FPS can stay alive and maybe collect some extra points there in regards to placement. It might end up working out for them. Right now is what, M249, iCross, the only one that's alive, fighting for that
Yeah.
second place points.
Yeah,
spotted.
absolutely.
It's gonna be super close. That's what I'm gonna say. It's gonna be really, really close if he is
You
able to
want
clutch
to
this
come
up.
in and third party the Panthers as they're getting
Right.
pressure, but right now 1v1
Oh,
v3.
unlucky. The Panthers. The
Uh-oh.
Panthers want this.
And they called in legal so the legal's giving them skies in the eye too, by the way. So they called in a UAV basically for this final fight as legal's
All right,
gonna drop in.
1v3.
They
Yeah,
know where
1v3.
he is. Kairos, no hope.
Get
This
the
is-
pan out. Come on.
Yeah.
Panthers, do something. Nah, they don't want to risk it. There's a lot
No.
of points for them.
Look at him.
Puts
Look
us
at
up
him.
to 40 if they get this.
I think Kairos is trying to survive to the blue or maybe get like a trade kill for fun. But the
Maybe.
Panthers continue to grind up. They
Nah.
are close.
Oh,
That was huge.
They almost had enough to get the extra money. Almost had the extra money, but they don't quite get there. They miss fourth place by 1 point. M249 does manage to climb. Panthers get themselves a big win, but ultimately it is about Strangers BD and Nori not able to make the climb. My name's Toppies. I'm joined by Seven Worlds and Noah from Twitter, or Noah from YouTube, who can be found on Twitter
Every
as Noah
time.
from Twitter. It's because it says
Where's he
both.
from?
Why does it say both? That said, though, it was a great game. It was pretty exciting, and we saw some crazy stuff from the jump, Noah.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of jump, yeah, we saw a lot of crazy jump plays, and that's something that I really liked about New State is the fact that while you're midair, you can aim down sights and shoot, and that's something that I think adds another like skill asset, another skill level to the gunfights is being able to make those jump plays. Especially,
Yeah.
I don't know who it was, but they jumped off the building so much further than I ever would have imagined someone could. That play was definitely the most fun to watch. But then M249. You know, they got that clean up with the jump shot as well. Those personally are my favorite, is the flying plays, just shooting
Yeah.
someone midair. The best.
I just feel like that guy, that was just like an unnatural jump.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
They're boosted up with like max speed and just sent it.
His teammates like threw him as he made the jump. I've got good
Crazy.
news though. The standings are ready, so let's take a look at them and see who exactly advances to the grand final. We punched 2 new tickets today, and they are going to. It looks like Vengeance and Seven Nations Army will get the advance at 43 and 35. The Panthers were close, but they were already, sort of past, so it wasn't like it was super dangerous for Seven Nations Army. Strangers BD and Nori will watch wistfully. Nori got close, Seven. I
Yep.
feel like if they had started doing what they were doing at the end early, might have been a different story.
This is what happens with these teams. For some reason, they decide to wait until the last match to actually become aggressive. I don't know if it's a confidence boost. I don't know if it's maybe the pressure of knowing, oh, hey, maybe it's now time for us to finally wake up. It comes down with experience, right? This is the first time that I think I've ever seen Nori aim in the top 8, especially in the influencer tournaments.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future, if they are able to sign up for the Open Qualifiers this weekend, they could have a chance and take some of the experience that they got here today and not wait until the last minute. With Strangers BD, oh man, maybe this weekend? Question mark. But then there's gonna be a lot of teams that have been playing for the weekends and for the influencer tournaments that are gonna be trying to make it to those grand finals. Overall, though, I'm happy to see the fight between M249 Fan Club and Violent by Nature. I thought today was gonna be M249 Fan Club versus the Panthers. We didn't get a chance to see that, but the final fight at the end between M249 Fan Club and Violent by Nature, it satisfied me.
Let's take a look at the cash to see who's going to be satisfied with the payout. $5,000 in this prize pool, and Violent by Nature walks away with $2K. But M249 Noah adds another $1,500 to the already impressive stack of cash they have accrued so far.
Yeah, that makes them the most winningest team here in New State so far. Probably, the most wealthy, most earned team as well. So definitely, going into the future of all tournaments, they're always going to be the team with the most eyes on them. They're going to be the team to beat.
the winningest team. I absolutely love it. All right, let's see who the qualified teams are as we prepare for the grand final in only a week's time. So far, these are the teams that will be taking the field in the Big 16. M249, Pure Love, Instinct. I was reading them, so I won't be anymore.
There we go.
Violent by Nature,
Yay.
the Panthers, Burn in Silence, Syntax, Vengeance, Seven Nations Army, and we are excited to announce that there is another team that has qualified through the wildcard system. They are impressive. They are made up of pros.
Whoa. Team from Noah.
Team from Noah. Noah from you. Tell me, okay, I'm not going to say it. Tell me about this roster, Noah.
All right, so we've got Noah from YouTube, amazingly good-looking player, standing at 6'4".
Nice.
And yeah, just great all-around player, mobile player, Battle Royale world champion. I'll stop because people are gonna start to to think I love myself that much. Okay, so then we have Citrus. Now, I did mention I did win a Battle Royale mobile world championship, and Citrus was my duo during that event. Solid player. He's one of the most knowledgeable players I've ever had the privilege of playing with when it comes to Battle Royales and just rotating around maps. So really excited to see how all of his previous Battle Royale knowledge transfers over to New State. And then we have Sixless, who is actually a PUBG mobile professional player, or, you know, old one, new one, whatever. You know, he's been in and out of the scene for a long time doing whatever he wants, and he's been successful at whatever he wants to be successful at. Incredible player. Again, super excited to see him transfer to New State. And then we have Wicked Sun, which, going back to COD Mobile, another player who is incredibly talented and smart when it comes to Battle Royale, on one of the top teams in the game and is considered one of the top players on the top team. So all around, I'm super excited to play with this roster. It's a group that I handpicked personally, and everybody was super excited to play. I'm hoping, you know, I can compete with them and not drag them down at all. But even if I do, you know, if I get carried, I'll still take the money. I'll still take the title, and I'll be happy, man. So it's gonna be fun because we qualified through the wild card. And I know Seven, you had some comments about my team. I'm excited to hear what you think. I'm excited to hear what you think.
Seeing that you got Sixless on your team, man. I'm one of the biggest fans of Sixless. That's a player right there that has a ton of skill, not just in fragging, but also being able to just play smart if he has to play, be able to survive. And as we've seen it, some of these teams, you need to do that sometimes. You need to be able to snake, and he's one of the biggest snakes in NA in the game, by the way, in the game. But yeah, overall, that team is looking good. That team's looking real good.
Yeah, I'm super excited because we have collectively a lot of Battle Royale knowledge, and that's what I think is going to really benefit our team, is everyone coming together, because we've never played together. Citrus and Sun, like I said, are two of the top players in COD Mobile, and they've never teamed together. They were so excited when I had mentioned the possibility of them being able to team together, because their two teams are like rivals, because they're both the top teams by a significant amount in that scene. So I'm just really excited to see, you know, all of our knowledge pooled together and what it can do here in a new game and a new competitive scene.
I like it. I hope that you guys do well, but everybody else at home, if you think a bunch of COD players showing up sounds a bit fishy, you can still sign up, get to the Open Qualifier, and have a chance to go up against them. Guys, that's it. You see Noah counting his stacks. We want to finish this up so we can go actually do it the right way. It's going to be awesome. We appreciate you hanging out with us on this Thursday night. From myself, from Seven, from Noah, it has been awesome spending the evening with you guys. And I hope you come back. Noah, did you want to do any shout-outs? Do you want to do, like, where to find you on social media and stuff before we head home?
I mean, if you haven't said it enough, I'm hoping we have a little graphic here at some point. But yeah, Noah from YouTube. I have multiple different channels over there. We have Noah from YouTube Mobile. We have a second mobile channel just because I've been playing so much freaking mobile games. There's so many. But yeah, it's called Noah from YouTube Mobile, Noah from YouTube More Mobile. You know, Noah from Twitter, which is on screen right now. I see, you know, the two names you've been seeing a lot. That's where you guys can find all my goofy tweets and stuff. Definitely, we're going to be clipping a lot of the compliments. Yeah, Noah from Memes. That's Seven's favorite channel, is Noah from Memes. We'll bring it back. We'll have some New State content on there at some point.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, just hopefully I do well in the tournament, but if we have funny moments, we'll definitely use it for content.
Yeah, either way, we're going to be messaging you, win or lose, and I hope that you guys all embrace it.
I can't wait from all of us here. It was awesome to hang out with you. From me, from Seven, from Noah, from the entire production team, and from KRAFTON. Thank you for spending your Thursday with us. And come back tomorrow at the same time, at the same place for the last round of Open Qualifiers. I'll be here, and I know you will too. But until I see you tomorrow, play more New State.
Heck yeah.
Hold up. 4 months. Oh, wow.